Thank you, Annette. I appreciate you like no other. I was talking this whole time and nobody could hear me. I was like, thank you for saying something in that, because most of the time people would just stay. I would have gone like a good like half hour just talking and not realize that I had no sound and nobody would have said anything till you came in. So I appreciate you for saying something. Um, but yeah, so what I was saying was basically like it's a lot of the upcoming changes that we have that I think are going to cause a lot of turmoil when it comes to dealing with us veterans. Us veterans is going to be dealing with the fact that budget cuts are gonna happen. There's gonna be cuts somewhere. Some funding is going to be reduced or removed or something of the sort. It's not gonna be that funding for the VA is just gonna stay there. As you can see, there's funding that is looking like they're trying to remove from all different types of places, um, but they haven't solidified it yet. I think most of the stuff that's gonna change is once Trump gets inaugurated. From there, that's when I think it's gonna be a okay, now let's see what is gonna happen. Once he starts implementing his people in place, they start taking place, they start taking, guess you could say they start taking their seating. Um, then from there it's gonna be how to do it. Some people saying many are gaming the system. Yeah, and that's one thing to touch on also when it comes to this. It's a veteran Q&A, but it's also talking about people gaming the system, because there are a lot of vets that are taking advantage of the system. There is not always, it's not all vets. I'll put it like that. But there are a lot of vets that are navigating the system to try to be beneficial towards them is the best way of saying. Nothing wrong with, hey, if you're hurt and you need assistance, you need assistance. But at the same time, we got to be honest with ourselves, and there's a lot of veterans out here that are just full of shit. So, I'm sorry, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's too many instances where, and that's why I do this as a live and I do this free, because I would rather educate people on the correct way of doing stuff and the correct way of filing, correct way of using a nexus letter, using buddy statements, using uh personal statements, all that stuff. It's important to start putting that into perspective, because the thing is you have to learn how to use that. You need to know how to use it. You're not going to be successful in filing a disability claim if you don't know what you don't know. So it's important for veterans to learn and understand what these changes are. How do you file? What documentation do you need? Where can you get documentation without gaming the system? Because a lot are gaming the system. Like, you can't tell me that with all these people, like, look, this is the one thing I tell veterans, and this is something I harp on a lot. When it comes to vets, right? You're a veteran, cool. The problem we have as veterans, what is up with these commercials on YouTube? I have no idea that. No idea. I was just like, the thing about it right now is just like a lot of people tend to file stuff, right? And you have all these channels, you have all these YouTube channels. Most of them are like claim agencies or some sort of entity that will file your disability claim. They will run this, they will do that, they will provide you a nexus letter, provide you a DBQ and all that stuff. And the thing is just like, that's where it comes into play where, okay, like I said, how is it that all these many veterans have the same fucking doctor getting the same information from the same entity? Like, y'all don't think that's why the VA and the American Legion are trying to cut down on these entities? Why do you think with this new change of the Benefits Act, the update of 2024, is that they're trying to eliminate some of the DBQs, but also they're trying to put more resources into veteran service officers, which is them basically saying like, hey, we are going to try to put more money into actual people that are accredited through our system so that people can go through it. Because the amount of money and the amount of veterans that are taken advantage of due to the fact that it's just like, hey, your back pay may be like 10% of whatever it is that you got in back pay. But at the same time, like I said, it's as simple as me filing the wrong DBQ for you, the one that's outdated, and that throws out your it doesn't throw out your effective date because the effective date is still there. The only thing is it throws off when your claim could have been done. Because if it takes already what 6 months, 7 months to get a rating in the first place. Now you mean to tell me that once they actually get to it, you filled it out on the wrong form? Nothing that you did wrong. It was just like it was an outdated form. Because, like I said this earlier when we were doing the little chat. It was just like you started off and it was all good, and then all of a sudden it's just like the form changed. They got updated to the July version, but you submitted the January version. They might kick your shit back and say it was denied. Now, that's something that one of these claim agencies can go off of and feed off of it, because now it's just like, well, your shit got denied. We can appeal now. And you know the appeal process is going to take at least, what, 6 months? 7 months or longer? So basically what they're doing is they're, I wouldn't say they screwing your claim up on purpose, but chances are that, hey, if I know this veteran don't know shit about what he's about to do and he wants to fill out this form and we fill out this form, we're going to fill it out for him. We're going to get it to him. We're going to submit it. He ain't going to know it was the outdated version. He just going to think the thing got denied because it got denied. That's what most veterans think. It's just like, I got denied, and it's just like, oh, it's because the VA sucks. No, it's not always. Sometimes the VA does suck. They need to get veteran service clinics at the VA. I know VA providers are telling veterans no because they are overwhelmed. And that's the thing. And that's why, Annette, a lot of people tend to lean towards, they want to get that community care. They want to do that. But at the same time, the VA is the one that's trying to give these resources. They got so many resources. Just most veterans don't know about it. But everybody, it's a limited system. And that's what people tend to forget. People think that the VA is just unlimited. It was just like your funding, your compensation is unlimited because you're going to get that for the rest of your life. But the healthcare system is not unlimited. There are a certain amount of resources. It's just like, and the thing is, crazy thing about it, Annette, is when people look at it this way, and it's just like, y'all fail to realize y'all didn't even get that kind of healthcare while y'all were in service. Why the fuck did you think it was going to be 10 times better outside of service dealing with you? Like sometimes I sit back and I wonder about that. It's just like, why is that? Why is it that people think that all of a sudden it's going to get better once you get out? Oh, just like they're going to work on getting more veterans in. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to accomplish that. They want to get more veterans in to file for claims, get health care, but at the same time, they don't have the resources for it. They want more people to file claims because look at the PACT Act. The PACT Act alone, I'll show you the dashboard. Where's it at? Give me a second. I'll pull up the dashboard. But and then every one of these systems suck. But people don't know that. See, this is the PACT Act. This is the dashboard, right? So you go to the interactive dashboard. The dashboard will tell you how many people have filed from whatever time period. So basically they have it quarterly now that they're sending it. But this is basically from all time. So this is basically what it's saying. Off of this statistic right here, which is expanding benefits, cumulative total PACT related claims completed, 1.9 million. That's 1.9 million different claims that got submitted. Now, keep in mind, that's not saying that all of these are 1.9 million veterans. I don't know. I have to dig a bit deeper to see how many actual veterans it is. But claims filed, you know what that is? 2 million claims filed for the PACT Act alone from when it got implemented till December of this year. Because it basically says from August 10th of 2022, because it got enacted on August 9th of 2022. And now it's December 15th of 2024. That's the stats they have. 1.9 million. You know how many claims that is? that weren't in place this whole time. They weren't there. Nobody knew about these claims because nobody had it. Like people were getting, people were getting filing for claims and stuff, but a bunch of the times people were just denying it. People were just denying a lot of these claims because of the fact that it's like, you know what? We don't got nothing tying this due to it. I was just like, everybody now ends up with burn pit. Everybody's in the registry. Everybody's in the burn pit. And that's information that people don't realize is like, oh shit. I was just like, you know how many people got exposed to mixing shit? Toxic exposure. You know how many people got that stuff? You know how many people, the crazy thing is 1.9 million. That's not counting the people that haven't filed. That's not even counting people that haven't gone through the process or gone through the thought process of, you know what? This is what's going on. I served in this area. I have this. Most people have sinusitis and rhinitis, breathing issues. Everybody got them. We didn't have them before. Then all of a sudden, boom, now you got it. See, now look, there's been 6 million toxic exposure screenings. 6 million. That's just toxic exposure screenings. Look, out of those 6 million, 45% of them had at least one potential exposure. It says 9.5 total exposure screenings where veterans endorsed more than one. So we had at least 571,000 veterans that had more than one issue when it came to PACT. So it's just like people fail to realize it's just like these systems suck, but when you stretch them thin and overwhelm them even more, they're going to suck even more. Because the thing is it's thinking about it like this. We don't have an unlimited number of doctors. The U.S. isn't known for whipping out doctors. We can whip out more soldiers easily. We ain't whipping out doctors at the same number. You don't have, I wonder how many, but then that's the thing. It's just like we have doctors, but then it's specialist doctors. Doctors that are for a specific issue. So let's say you have heart issues, cardiovascular issues. That's a specific doctor. Now, when you look at it in the outside world, in the civilian world, a cardiovascular doctor that deals with heart disease or anything like that, that's a pretty penny you paying. You mean to tell me that one of these doctors is going to forego the money they can make on the outside and try to be part of the VA? Fuck no. That just makes no sense. Why would I turn down all these millions of dollars I'm going to make here when I know people are going to come to me because I'm a specialist at this and I'm going to work at the VA? Nobody does that. If you know your job is going to pay you better than the job you're currently at, are you going to, if you know that new job you applying for is going to pay you way almost 2 times, 3 times more, are you really going to stay at your actual job? No. It's the same thing with a lot of service members. A lot of service members, did they contract, and what did they do? They start contracting out. They work for like KBR and they work for all these other entities. And what do? They contract with them. And if you're making a 6-figure salary in a 6-month time period, you weren't making that while you were in the military. You weren't making that at any point in 6 months. Even if you were a colonel, you weren't making 100. Now, you still weren't making 100,000 in a 6-month period. Maybe over the year you were, plus BAH and all that stuff, but you weren't making that money on the thing. So it's just like, yeah, it's kind of hard to keep doctors. And y'all forget, some of us veterans are fucking rude as shit. I can't leave that part out. You know the amount of times you see people, like if you check out like Reddit posts of like people that work for the VA and talking about the interactions that they have with veterans, it'd be like, yeah, we can't keep nobody because some of us are just obnoxious and some people are just entitled. Some veterans just think they entitled. Like, oh, I'm calling the VA. This is supposed to, bro, this shit didn't happen for you in the damn military. And now you think that you're going to be on the civilian side. You remember those civilian damn entities in the military. You remember going through CIF. You remember that if that person was not in the best of moods, your ass was coming back again for another day. Even though you pressure washed it, power washed it, put it in the washing machine, even though you wasn't supposed to, your shit was good to go. And cause that civilian was having a bad day, they was just like, nah, this shit dirty. Come back tomorrow after you clean it. And now all of a sudden, it's just like people think that dealing with civilians in the VA is gonna be any different. One of the main things when it came to that CIF person, when you were turning in your gear, they were prior service. So they still hold that little chip on their shoulder because of their rank. These civilians don't know who the hell you are. These civilians don't give a damn what your rank is. Some of these people have never served a day in the military and never planned to serve a day in the military, but they're the ones in charge of your stuff. Don't be a dick. Like, it's not that difficult. If you're going to be yourself, be yourself. Talk to people, interact with people, be courteous to these people, because these are the people that are managing your stuff. A lot of the times veterans don't do that because they just want to be, you just want to be mad. Like, yes, I understand. The VA does jack shit up. Just, it's unavoidable. But at the same time, if you taking it out and being angry with these same people, it only goes back to you. If you go to a CMP exam and you acting like an asshole, that person has what? That person's getting paid. You showed up, right? If you didn't show up, they got paid. Their examination doesn't have to be wholehearted. Like, you know what? You actually an asshole. You know what? I'm not going to put everything. I'm going to put what I need to, but I'm not going to do the extra stuff. I'm not going, oh, well, I know I diagnosed you with this. I'm not going to add that. I was just like, is it fucked up? Yeah, but it's not their job to do it. But I bet you if you were nice to them and they realize, you know what? Off of the stuff you telling me and the stuff I seen, I'm diagnosing you with this and I'm putting this claim in there for you. And CMP examiners do that. Always? No. A good amount of the time? Yes, because they understand. It's just like some of them understand and some of them have military background or they got a background with their family where they know that their family members went through something dealing with the VA. But then there's other entities that is just like doctors that they hire in the area. It's just like, hey, man, this person wants to work with the VA. They'll be able to do things. Like I got seen for my foot twice and it was two different CMP examiners in the same town. And I was just like, why wouldn't you send me to the same person? But then at the same time, it's just like, if you send them to that first person and that first person didn't do a good job, then it's like, oh shit. All right, let's end this contract, new contract. And then you end up with somebody else. See, and look, this is a crazy part here. It says weekly claims submitted and completed, packed related. You know what that is? 19,000, 21,000, 18,000, 18,000. 17,000, 13,000, 19,000, 22,000. This isn't a matter of weeks at a time. How do you expect the VA to go through all this shit? Like, y'all really mad at the VA? Like, yes, the VA does need fixing. But at the same time, we need to have the mental ability to realize that, you know what? Some of these things we can't control. Some of this shit we got to deal with. If you got over 2 million new claims that would never have been processed or never been there, we wouldn't have a backlog right now. Our backlog wouldn't be as crazy. Why? Because look, this is, and then it says non-packed act claims completed. 29,000, 33,000, 29,000, 31,000. Shit says inventory pending. What's this at from? 370 inventory of packed act related pending 371,000. Inventory pending non-packed act 581,000. So what you're telling me is that within all these different entities, we don't have enough people to do it. And we just don't. But veterans don't understand that. Veterans just take it as, you know what, the VA does a terrible job. And that's where we have a problem, because we don't even have the full figure of people that do it. There's 19 million veterans in total. 19 million veterans in total. And about 8 million of them are actually using the stuff. Now imagine if we had all full 19 million veterans actually using the VA, actually filing claims, actually submitting stuff. Where do you think we would be able to have the capability to actually fulfill all those requisitions in a timely manner? Like, if y'all got suggestions, put them out there, because it's just like it's not difficult to talk about, but it is difficult because the thing is a lot of the stuff we're talking about is just the problems, but we're not coming up with any solutions as how to fix this. Because you got to remember, out of all these claims and all these screenings, off of all these claims, right? How many of these claims are actually done correctly? Because the thing is we went through the number of backlog or the inventory they're trying to do, right? So they already have an inventory of stuff you have to take care of. You got an inventory of all these claims you have to do. That's not counting the stuff that was there already prior. So you have 1.9 million that happened from August of day of enactment till December. That's not counting the rest of December because we're basically into January already. And that's a whole nother month of more claims probably thrown on top of there. Now, we have this backlog right now with the PACT Act. Now, imagine what's going to happen once we add the changes to tinnitus, mental health, and sleep apnea. Imagine what those changes are going to turn into. Imagine what it's going to become. The fact that it's just like, you know what? We now have more people trying to claim more mental health. We now have more people trying to claim sleep apnea, or we have more people trying to claim changes to tinnitus with the hearing and all that stuff. Now you're going to add all those people on top. So not only do you have these people now that probably filed for some of the things now with their PACT Act, you're also going to have people thrown on top of that with these changes that are being proposed in April. But like I said, with those changes, there's nothing concrete yet. It's what they've announced or what they planning to do, but nobody knows for sure because it hasn't come out yet. It's like ideas. It's ideas that they strongly feel should be updated, but there's nothing that says, yes, we have decided on this. We have decided on that. People are like, yeah, we can see the stuff. It was just like, you got to remember, the final action date is of April of 2025. From there, they're going to give us a date, which will probably show up on the CFR, or they'll make an announcement like, hey, changes to CFR Title 38, Chapter 1, Part 4, Schedule of Ratings. This is the update to mental health, effective this date. Because then it's going to be the scramble of so many veterans when they actually, that's going to be like a scramble right there. Because it's either going to be, hey, with these changes being, hey, this is what's going to happen. Veterans are going to be like, you know what? I need to file now. Because my rating is higher if I file with the old system. Or it's going to be, oh shit, with this new system, my rating can be higher. So that's going to throw an influx of people in no matter when it is. It's either going to be like, hey, effective, it'll probably give it like a month or two maybe before it becomes an effective date. So if you have, hey, changes to tinnitus announced in April, effective date June of 2025 or July or whatever they put it at. Now you have basically from that time period, if you don't got your shit together, to either file according to the previous CFR, which would mean you would have to apply before that effective date of the changes is, or the CFR afterwards with the new changes. Like I said, that's going to bring an influx of people. That's going to be an influx of more claims. Not only that, the thing is like I said, the PACT Act keeps on being implemented and it keeps on being, there's going to be more presumptives. As we start getting more into time, when we start developing and we start seeing a lot of these Iraq veterans, Afghanistan veterans, the Gulf War veterans, Desert Storm. Those people, once they start seeing, hey, these people are now getting older. What are these people developing? What are they developing? Is it cancer? Is it this? Is it sinitis mostly? Rhinitis? Is it a specific cancer that it seems like a lot of veterans that were in this area was coming out with? And then you got to remember, a change like that is going to implement even more addition to it. Because then you're going to have people who's just like, hey, man, I'm dealing with this cancer. The VA going to pay for this shit. I need to apply for it. I'm already presumptive. I'm in the toxic screening stuff. I'm already there. This is something new that pops up, and that's going to be added there. So those are things that people need to realize. Like with this is just information that's available. This is the PACT Act dashboard. I'll put the link in here so that y'all, if y'all want to look at it, go more in depth in it. That's something that they keep on updating. That's available for y'all to view. This gets updated. They have the annual reports. They were doing they were publishing like quarterly reports, but I think that was something that they had with Congress during the committee time period, where it was just like, hey, y'all need to keep reporting to us what's going on. Now it becomes a whole year thing for you to apply. So that's something people need to realize. These are changes that are going to be implemented. These are changes that are going to be there. These are things that if you are a veteran or you are a family member of a veteran, this is stuff that you want to let them know. This is stuff that you want to do. See, this has the VA account initial 500, VA account initial 5 billion. And it gives you a breakdown. Full-time equivalent employees, Veteran Benefits Administration, general operating expenses, 1,875. Allocated 302,000. Total obligation 299,000. But I think this is in the millions. And that's what it is. This is all the stuff that is being paid. Like, this shit costs money, y'all. People need to realize that this shit costs money. Whether there's gonna be cuts or not, depending on how they want to go about it. But this shit costs money. Contracting out costs more money than paying people through the VA. You got to remember, if you're looking at the VA pay, remember it's on a GS scale. GS scale goes to a certain amount. Now, if you're getting paid at the GS scale, you already know how much you're getting paid because you can look that up. On the civilian side, you could be getting paid your GS scale, and then you got the VA paying you to help them out. It's not crazy of the fact that just people are just like, y'all need to realize it costs money to do this. It's a budget constraint. They're just like people like the amount of people that were calling for like the heads of the VA secretary now. It was just like, man, y'all under $5 billion and this and that. And I was just like, yeah, but we had an extra 2 million people signing up for PACT Act that didn't have it. We got an influx of 2 million people. So with that 2 million people, you need to pay for CMP examinations for all of that. Because it's not like it's just like, hey, you have it. You still have to go through it. You still have to file a document. You still have to file your documentation to go and corroborate with it. You still have to be diagnosed with it. It's not like you just, hey, I got the PACT Act, it's sinitis, and I'm going to claim sinitis. Most people are just doing it that way, and then they're surprised that they're getting denied. It was like, no, you have to have a diagnosis for it. You have to be diagnosed with sinitis. The VA isn't going to try to do it. My VA GYN told me that I may have been exposed to something when I was in the Navy. Ms. Davis, then that's something you need to get them in writing. Get whatever documentation it is that you got. And that's where you got to start putting it together. Because the thing is that's when you try reaching out to your buddies, people that you served with in the Navy, people that were on the ship with you or in that location. You start asking them questions. It's just like, hey, I got my doctor said it might be, I don't know if you want to do that or you cool with people like that, but that's something that you can still do. Is just like, hey, I got diagnosed with this. By any chance, did you get diagnosed or have you been having these symptoms and stuff like that? Because then it's easier to start putting shit together. It's just like, hey, if you're dealing with that, I'm dealing with that. So and so is dealing with the same thing. We were all in the same location, same thing. That's how claims start. That's how it starts. But the thing is ain't nobody tracking none of this. That's why it's taking so long. Like, bruh, people, Vietnam? Agent Orange was Vietnam. That was in the 70s, 60s, 70s. We are in 2025. So it took these people almost 60 plus years, almost 70 years, approaching on 70 years, to get this filed, to get people documented for the stuff that they are dealing with now. We got how many people that done did Iraq and Afghanistan? Some of those people are still in uniform now, and they're still the people that are the leadership. Imagine when they get out and start getting older. What can they possibly develop? I was like, we don't know. Nobody says anything. Most people just suck it up. It was like, shit. I was sifting it. It was just like, I can't breathe the same. I got asthma. I got all this other shit. And it's just like, down the road, you don't know how that's going to affect these people. Because we don't know. Because you got to think about it. A lot of the PACT Act was for that Agent Orange. And like I said, Agent Orange, that was in the 70s when they dealt with Vietnam. So a lot of these vets now are older in age. And that's when they started developing this stuff. Some of them had it at an early onset, some of them in later years. But at the same time, that's still there, that it's just like, oh shit, I have this. This is what I'm dealing with. I need to get this checked out. And most people, they don't get it checked out. They don't think of it, and they don't think it's like, you know what? This was caused by my time in service. There's really a small number of people that be like, you know what? I got this because of my time in service. That was my GOI. It's because that's the thing. It's just like, you got to start thinking outside the box and stuff. It's just like, there's so many things that people did, so many things that people got exposed to. There's so many programs and stuff like that. Like, shit, who the hell knows what the hell we got injected in when we first went to basic? Remember all them damn shots? Got Japanese encephalitis. For what? I ain't even go to Japan. Everything has to be in your service record. Document everything from your head to your toes. It was just like, that's the thing, Lori. A lot of people don't realize that. It's just that, yes, everything has to be documented. But at the same time, it's just like, some people don't get the stuff documented. I try to tell active duty service members now, you need to go get seen. It don't matter what you're doing. It don't matter how bad it is or how good. Get yourself seen. Get it in writing. A lot of people don't do that. Back in the day, people weren't really allowed to go to sick call. Even now, when you go to sick call, most of these PAs is bullshit too. And that's, like I said, that's what baffles me, is just like when veterans be like, man, the VA sucks. It was just like, bro, you had military doctors. They were trash too. Don't act all surprised like it's just like, oh, I didn't know this was coming, y'all. I didn't know it was happening. It was just like, no, a lot of these doctors were trash in the military. And I tell people this, and I tell people, if you're on active duty, when you go get seen, check your damn records and check what is actually put on your appointment. Check what was actually documented as to why you got seen. Was it because of an injury? Was it not an injury? Was it a follow-up? Make sure you are looking at that documentation, because a lot of the times they ain't putting shit in right. And that leads to even more problems with vets, because the thing is, it's just like, yeah, man, I went to the doctor for this. But they just put it as whatever they put it as. And then when you're actually going through your medical records, it's like, no, this is supposed to be this. This was supposed to be an ankle sprain. They just put it as ankle injury. That's two different things. An ankle sprain and an ankle injury. Ankle injury, you could have just hit yourself. or whatever it is, or ankle sprain where it's a level 3 sprain, level 2 sprain, like that. And if they just putting it as, oh, ankle injury, you could have severely sprained your ankle, had it all black and blue, swolled up and everything, had that, go through physical therapy and everything. But what are they gonna look at? Ankle injury. Now, ankle sprain, it was just like, oh, he went to physical therapy because he's complaining about pain in his ankle. It's like, no, bro. I sprained my ankle. There's a difference, but that isn't on there. People don't realize that. And that's the thing. Most people don't realize it's very vital what they put as information into your records. But at the same time, it's also when you're filing your records, separate all your shit. I spoke to somebody earlier about that. When you are filing your disability claim, this is more for like, because once you've been out for a while and you go through claiming stuff, it's a whole different process compared to somebody that's just getting out. See, and that's the thing. It was just like you can read it now because they typed it, but then at the same time, when they just scribble it and they take a picture of it and they upload that, when a VA rater or a CMP examiner is searching for that, they cannot control F that. They cannot control pictures. They cannot search for pictures. So that's why I tell people when you go through your medical records, go line by fucking line, all the way down the list, check every single line, do every single line, and do it that way so that you ensure yourself that you went through every piece of stuff that you needed to go through. You checked this. You made sure this was there. You made sure this was shit. I forgot I went to get seen. Oh, there's another claim. Stuff like that. But at the same time, depending on how lengthy your stuff is, like I said, mine was like 980, I think it was like 982 pages, almost like 1,000 pages. I'm not going to read that shit. I wanted to because I wanted to make sure I got everything and I looked at it. But if I hand you 900 pages, 1,000 pages to read as somebody you don't know, don't give a shit about, you getting paid regardless, are you really going to read 1,000 pages? Are you going to make sure that that picture that person highlighted or what it is, where the actual service connection is proven is on that picture that they scanned and they controlled F and didn't see it? I was just like, well, there you go. I have the old X-rays. Damn. I was just like, what do you mean they can't use old X-rays? They should be able to use that regardless. It shouldn't be an issue. The problem is that they probably making up shit to not have the use. Because the thing is, the X-ray is still an X-ray. Or it could be the way that they're putting it into the system that maybe they can't take the old X-rays and like, maybe it's the fact that they can't like scan the old X-rays. But nowadays you could take a picture with your phone and create a PDF out of it. But at the same time, if you do it that way, you still can't search for that. But there's definitely ways of doing it. It's just what makes it easier to actually do it. And that's the thing. But they have ways. There's documentation everywhere that you can get, but it's basically obtaining the right information, knowing how to use it. And the same thing with like the Nexus letters. Most people don't actually use the Nexus letter the way it's supposed to because most people don't know how to fill it out. Most people don't know there's a format for it. Most people don't give it to their doctors prior to actually get that. And that's the same thing with the DBQs and the changes that these people are trying to implement. It's just like there's a lot of changes that they're trying to make. The thing is they're going off of what veterans are doing, what veterans are saying. Most veterans don't have any documentation because they don't go get documentation. So Nexus letters are the next biggest thing. But a Nexus letter can come with a buddy statement, a personal statement, evidence, physical therapy, and all that stuff. But at the same time, it's still that connecting thing. Because for a lot of vets, it's just like they wait a while. It was just like, look, if you would have filed your disability claim right when you were getting out and done the BDD process, you would have had your claim, your rating done within a month of you getting out. Then within that first year of you out, they basically say, hey, everything is service connected. Most people don't want to deal with it. They trying to figure out life after that or enjoying the fact that they can sleep in and not do a damn thing most of the time. There's that. Now, if you waited 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or longer to file a claim, that's a big gap of time that you have to tie to your service. And the thing is once you leave the service, even if you have a private doctor, most people don't keep those records. If you've been seeing the same doctor for 20 odd some years after the military, does that doctor have 20 years worth of records? Because most of the time, for most people, it's most places, I think it's like 7 years that they keep documents for. If you've been seeing the same doctor for like 15 years, 20 years, and they've noted it from there, they could look back and be like, you know what? I started seeing Cruz in 2020. It's been 5 years and he decided to file this, but he got out in 2020. And for the past 5 years, I've been seeing him. And the past 5 years, I have diagnosed him with this. He has told me about this injury that he's had because of this, and it's worse and stuff like that. And that's what gets put into the nexus letter, but people don't put that. Most of the time, it's just like, yes, this is connecting. Like I said, that's why a lot of these entities do that. That's why it's just like, hey, if I'm going to charge you, like that person told was like $1,400 for a nexus letter. I said, bro, that's wild. Oh, just like $1,400 to get a letter from somebody that you don't know that's going to say that they treated you, seen you, diagnosed you, and then gave you a nexus letter. Y'all don't find that weird? That's why the VA is doing what it's doing. You saw that the big issue was with that the VA Claims Insider, which they were trying to do, which basically that was I believe it was either the VFW or the American Legion, which are like trying to sue and trying to make an issue out of the fact that, hey, these people are taking thousands and thousands of dollars from veterans because they're filing their claims for them. Where you have VSOs, which are free. Now, don't get me wrong, not all VSOs are great either. That's also a hit or miss. But at the same time, if you're educated enough on the stuff and you know what's going to happen, how it's supposed to look, what the information is, where in the CFR you're looking for, what documentation you need, how you got the imagery, how you got the nexus letter, how you got buddy statements, and you have all that stuff there, it's just like, you don't need to pay thousands of dollars for that. You just need to put the time in. But the thing is most people don't know where to look. And like I said, like in my case, it was overwhelming to just start. I had a year out because I knew I was getting out a year prior. I was like, so at year 9, I was just like, bro, I'm getting out. This is my last year. I'm not re-enlisting. I would have got in my Sergeant First Class, but I was just like, I'm not giving you out 3 years. Because if I do another 3 years, that means I have to go indefinite. And I'm not assuring myself that I want to do this for another 10 years. So I was just like, you know what? I'll leave with my promotable. They were trying to get me for like a year. It was just like, oh, join the National Guard for a year. And my first thing was like, for how much? And they was like, yeah, we ain't got no bonuses. All right, so I'll see my way out then. I was just like, you got certain people that are getting like 30,000, 40,000. I'm just like, bro, I've been doing this for 9+ years. I've excelled and I'm ahead of a lot of my peers. And you mean to tell me there's no bonus in that for me? That is just basically I'm be treated as the same person as a person that's not as far as me in the same time period? I was just like, no. It's crazy. It's just like that's the mentality that the military has. Like I said, for some it's like, yes, this is what I'm gonna do. For others, it's just like, you know what? I've had enough of this. But at the same time, I can make money outside. I'm filing my disability claims. I go to physical therapy. I'm 100% P&T now. I'm using my GI Bill. I can use the VRE program. I can use the loan forgiveness, which a lot of people don't know about, and they just let their loans get forgiven and they don't use them in a proper way. You have all these things that you can do, but most people don't know about them. Most people don't know that their state offers stuff. Most people don't know that you might have no property tax. Most people don't know that. The IRS and your tax assessor is not going to go out their way the same way as C&P examiner is not going to go out their way to make sure you get that benefit. If you don't know about it, you didn't ask for it, chances are not going to say anything about it. The same thing with your disability claims. If you didn't ask, you didn't know, you're going to file for something and you could have filed for multiple things there. Because a lot of the times when it comes to that C&P examiners, they know that once you have back issues, that shit is like a couple of things. It's usually degenerative disc disease, or you had a bulging disc or a slip disc or something along the sorts, or something wrong with your spine. And that's all there. But all you filed for was that. She said, wait, no property tax? Yes. Depending on your state, excuse me, depending on your state, Ms. Davis, it depends on what state you're in. Each state has its own criteria. For some, if you're 100% P&T, you get a certain percentage off of property tax. In Georgia, there is, give me a second, I'll pull it up because I have my Excel sheet. And this is something that I'm going to put into the website, but that shit is going to take a while to just add all the state stuff. So the exemption law, I think the maximum, because it said, I'll put this in here for you. This is the law. Oh, you on TikTok? Shit, I can't message you on TikTok. But it's just IA Batgirl liked and subscribed. I appreciate that, Batgirl. But that's something there that is just like it's the property tax exemptions. So what did I have it highlighted as? So if you're P&T, you receive it. Certain SMC receive it, and your spouse and children. So basically, some states have it that if they are a surviving spouse or surviving dependents of a service member that died because of a service connected issue, they then continue to be able to use that property tax exemption. For Georgia, I believe it's $50,000 is removed from the assessed amount of your home. So basically, whatever your taxes are, your assessment is, they're taking away $50,000, and that's what they're gonna assess, and you're gonna pay the taxes on $50,000 less of tax assessment, kind of thing. For some states, it's literally the percentage of disabled you are. So like if you're 50%, you get the 50% amount. 70%, and it's just like different states are different. Some it's just like you have to be permanent in total to receive it. For some states, it's like you have to be permanent in total, or you have to be TDIU in order to take or obtain that property tax exemption. Now, does that always happen? No, because each state is different. Some states are like that, some are not. Like in the case of like Minnesota, if you're 70% disabled in Minnesota, you get $150,000 of your assessment taken down. If you are 100% P&T, you get $300,000 taken down. So it depends on the state. It depends on it. But when you go, especially now, it's about to be tax season. People right now, we're just waiting for our W-2s or 1099s or whatever it is. People are just waiting on that. Start asking your person, which I'll probably go back to start doing a couple of the tax exemption stuff and start making videos real quick on it, just summarizing some of it. Like I was doing before with the workshops. The workshops at first, it was just like tax exemptions because it was like tax season. So I was just like, all right, let's see what tax exemptions veterans get in certain states. And that's one thing that people didn't realize is just like, yeah, you get tax exemptions on your property tax. Not saying you ain't paying no property tax, but hey, extra couple $1,000 back, never hurt nobody. I'm not going to complain. I don't think any veteran is going to complain when they're just like, you know what? You just got $2,000 back because of your tax exemption. I'd be like, what tax exemption? I was just like, because I'm a vet. What? I didn't know about this. I was like, so you mean to tell me I could have filed all these years prior and done the same thing? Yes. But most veterans don't know that. Most veterans don't understand that. That's important information right there. That is just like, hey, you're gonna file your taxes. Everybody's gonna go into tax season now. You need to make sure that, hey, if you have a property, if your state gives a property tax exemption, you have to make sure that your tax assessor or county assessor, whoever assesses the value of your house, and the people that are doing your taxes are making sure to implement that into your taxes. Make sure that's being outlined like, yes, I am a veteran according to Georgia law, according to New York, California, Texas, whatever it is. This, I receive a tax exemption of this amount for the property, whatever the property is. You have it like that, you have that info, it's just like 10 times easier. It's just like you good to go. It's just like, you know what? This is great. I have it. I have the info I need. I have the stuff I need. And then that's there. And it's just like people need to realize that people don't understand that and people don't see that. And that's one of the main things is just like you have property tax exemptions. This also includes sometimes for active duty. So it's not, and that's the thing. A lot of people like, I tend to do most of these streams are for veteran. It's veteran based, but you still active duty. If you know active duty, this information is just as it's still an opportunity for them to get information even if they are still currently serving. So I try to reach out to active duty, but since most of the stuff I do is veteran related, most of the time I don't get pushed to that active duty group because it's just like, oh, veteran awareness project. That's what we're called. People see that, it was just like, oh, it's just veterans. It was just like, no, I give tidbits to active duty because I was active duty too. I found out most of the stuff I know and most of the stuff I teach, I found out while I was on active duty because I asked those people that had gotten out before me. I started watching these videos. I started getting on YouTube and I started educating myself. And it was just like the difference was the way I educated myself was like, hey, what are the references? What are the regulations? Where are they getting this from? Because a lot of these channels now is just like, hey, file this to get to 100%. Cool. Everybody's jumping on that because, hey, if I can get 100% quicker, it's cool. But then the thing is just like, it's not a one size fits all when it comes to disability claims because your disability and your ailment may not be at the same level as somebody else. You may have a stronger case. You may have a more difficulty with your daily routine. Could be it's a harder time for you to deal with. You may need aid and attendance for this. You may have panic attacks. You may not. You may just be dealing with PTSD, but your PTSD is triggered anger, or you are dependent on alcohol to deal with the PTSD. All those different things and all those different cases are different things and different criteria that each veteran has differently. Nobody's claims, you can have the same claims, but then again, at the same time, if you got the same place that you went to and y'all both buddies and y'all both went to a nexus letter and y'all both in different states and y'all both got the same stuff and the same documentation, I'm gonna look at your shit funny. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna look at it weird. I'm gonna still go through it and fill it out, but it does look kind of weird when y'all both got the same doctor, even though one is in New York and the other one is in Cali. But you need to fill that out. That's stuff that you need to make sure that it's in there. And it's just like, you know what? Okay, this is what we have. This is what we're going with. But that's mostly it. Most of that stuff is there. It's just like, look at what's already been done. Look at the stuff that's been changing. Look at the CFR. Look at the 21-1. Most people don't even know about that one. Most people just look at it as just like I wonder sometimes when veterans file disability claims, like, how do you go about this? How did y'all do this? What did y'all do? It was like, how did y'all manage to just, how did y'all manage to file this claim and do it this way? Like, how did y'all do that? Like, how did you get there? How did you get that into that position that you put yourself in? Let me show you the website real quick. I haven't done that yet. Oh, so it's showing it up like that. Let's go to the site itself. So this is the site. We were trying to make some changes here. To the contact us and thing. You are able to see it in mobile. It's just not like visible there. Um, but you have the resources, stuff like that. When you click on resources, there's a resource link where you can click on the resources and it basically shows you resources. So you're going to have the VA forms, which you can click on, go back VA forms, and it's literally all the VA forms that I have uploaded so far. Gives you what it is. This is just VA form question mark. If y'all have a VA form that y'all want access to and y'all think I should put on there, send a message, leave it in the comments, or just email, contact the website and just let me know what it is. The disability, the DBQs, you got all of them by section. Just click on musculoskeletal and it'll take you to all of the ones that are musculoskeletal. Then it goes to neurological. I need to create a back to top button on there. But that's information that basically, if you need any of these DBQs, this is something you should be looking into to make sure you can assess this and get the information you need. Because this is another, like, I don't like to say cheat sheet, but it's another way of making sure that when you are filing for any one of these issues that y'all see here, y'all have a list of the other diagnostic or diagnoses that are possible with you dealing with that. So like the same way, like if you go to musculoskeletal, let's say we go to, where's it at? Back, cervical spine. You go to download. It'll go here. It'll open the link. If you want to download it, it'll download it. All the files and everything is off of my Google Drive. So basically, the Veteran Awareness Project has its own Google Drive. That's where all these documents are located. So basically, you'll be able to download it, open it, however you want to open it, or you could download it. You can fill it out that way. But at the same time, like I said, these are the different things that most people don't understand and don't know are available to them. Let's make this a bit larger. So as you can see here, you have, these are the different things that fall under back issues. All this is back issues. That's all the stuff that you can deal with. That's back issues that you can see, and you'll notice it and it's visible that way because you're now seeing it as just like, hey, these are the different things that I can actually claim. These are the actual things that are pertaining to back issues. So off of all of this, these are the different things that, hey, maybe my doctor, maybe the VA overlooked it, maybe the CMP examiner overlooked it. But if your private doctor goes and looks at this and it's just like, you know what? He does have degenerative arthritis and degenerative disc disease. Those are two different diagnoses. Those are two different things. One being the degenerative disc disease, which is the loss of cartilage between your vertebrae, and then arthritis, which is causing you pain on top of that. So now it's two different things. Or it could be a cervical strain of the muscle. Those are things that are there, and that's there for you to file. And that's just off the website. I have that. Resources, the government representation. I just updated this. I need to figure out how to change these because some of these names, some of the pictures of these people are smaller, and those are the new people. They don't have an official, whatchamacallit, they don't have an official picture yet. Or their websites, for some of them, their websites are for like, they're still in the process of making like their in the Senate website. A lot of them have, all these people, they have their websites. I have all their info. It's a link to their page, their contact us page, their Facebook and their Twitter. For the newer ones, they still have the for Senate, like they're still running for the position on their website. So I still put them there. They don't have like the email or contact list, but this gives you a breakdown of all the senators and all the House of Reps that are in the the Senate Veteran Affairs Committee and the House of Representatives committee, which basically gives you that information. So now, hey, if you need to reach out or if you fall into one of these and you're a constituent of one of these and there's something going on with it, these are the people that we need to start messaging. These are the people we need to start reaching out to. These are the people that we need to start getting in contact with to make changes to benefit veterans. These are the people that go through these committee hearings. So when the VA is jacked up, they sit in front of these people. So if you know, hey, there's a committee hearing happening on this day, I was just like, you know what? We need to talk to these people. Hey, I want to ask about this. Maybe send in a question, and maybe, hey, maybe they ask it, maybe they don't, depending on where it is. But that's something there. Go over there. Go over there. Go over there. Because you don't have a shirt on. Go over there and stay upstairs, please. Kid walking in here, no damn shirt. But basically, that's basically the stuff there that's highlighted. So that's what we have there. Resources. This is gonna keep on growing because as you click on the resources, it's here, but then it's also we're making the veteran organizations so that basically these are the ones that are recognized by the United States government. So like the BFW, DAV, Veterans Foreign Wars, the VFW, stuff like that. That'll be a place where people can just check and be like, you know what? Okay, we have this. These are the veteran organizations that are tied to the government that actually have like affiliation with them. State benefits, that's going to be basically, like I said, just putting together your state resources. It's going to be a breakdown of, hey, this is your state. This is the number of veterans in the state. This is probably like locations to find VSOs and stuff like that. Stuff like that. I still haven't formulated exactly how I'm going to break it down because I want to make it that each state has it the same way. So like when you're clicking on one state, it's going to be the same information across the board for all 50 states and territories. It's going to take a while, but it's something that's being worked on. Congressional representation, I already just showed that. And then the veteran affairs links, this is just basically different links. So if you need to go to va.gov, this is one of the better ones that I use, the Veterans Benefits Reddit page. I learned so much off of these people, and that's why I wanted to make sure to put them on my site. Like, hey, I gained a lot of information because of these people, because they do a lot of work when it comes to fixing stuff, posting stuff, and they have like a Reddit page where people post, and that's where we're going to work on a community forum where it's probably going to be like a Discord maybe, or even a Reddit where it's going to be like, hey, let's talk about these things. Because the thing is, a lot of the times it's on video. I do these workshops. If people don't tune in, some people don't watch the stuff, even though there's a good amount of information that comes from these. It's not in there. Not everybody's going to sit down and watch it. But if we have a forum where it's just like, hey, this will happen and this will be asked, we could do it that way. The same way with this, this right here, there's gonna be a frequently asked questions section because we have that at the beginning page. We have this as you go down. So see if it shows up. Yeah, see, so if you're on the link now, it'll show you that I'm streaming live. And it'll show you the live thing, so you'll be able to click on it. So that's one of the few things that I haven't seen any of those other channels do. So it's like, hey, if you're checking out our website at any point and I'm live, you'll be able to see that I'm live off of the front page and just tune in and check and watch the videos from there. Steps, resources, like Nexus letter examples. That one I'm gonna change because of the fact that the Nexus letters are very. You have to be more specific, and that's more from your doctor. It's just like the template that I've gone over, but it's just to do it that way. The Did You Know playlist, this one is just basically the playlist of all the stuff, all the Did You Know information I have that I have to do. I need to make sure I open that into a different one. I have this to keep informed so you can still see the disability rates, and we'll add different videos to this. This one I think is going to be a rotating video playlist most likely that I have on there, or just stuff that is just like informational stuff. Once we have more solid information on the changes for mental health, tinnitus, sleep apnea, stuff like that, that's something that's going to be highlighted in the keep informed section of it. What are your questions? This is what I was talking about, the facts, but it's currently under construction because I'm still making the videos to your questions. So as people ask questions, I am developing videos for them so that way when you go to the frequently asked questions, you can have a quick summary or be like, hey, here's the video and this explains what it is. So that way you have the option to either just read off of the thing and be like, you know what, I understand what he means off of this by answering my question this way. Or hey, here's a video highlighting what this question is. So how do I file a disability claim? This is the video how I'm doing it. This is the breakdown. Or how many steps are there when filing a disability claim? There's 8 steps. Step 1, this like stuff like that, and breaking it down like that, so it makes it easier for people, because it's more to bring awareness to people. That's the whole purpose of this, is to bring awareness to people, get stuff in there. We do have a donations page. If you want to donate. Not necessary, but it is appreciated. It helps the channel out. We have, which that's going to be another thing there, because it's going to be a support page. Then we have our Amazon affiliate workshop items and Amazon wish list. What those basically are is just plain and simple. It's just basically we don't charge for what we do. I don't charge for anything that we provide here. Everything is being provided free. It's just basically me taking time, but it's just like a way to support the channel, is either donations, becoming a member, purchasing any affiliate links, or even assisting with buying stuff off the Amazon wish list. That stuff would help assist, just like to continue to keep on being able to create these videos and do these lives. But that's mostly that's the website. As we keep on going, the website is going to keep on growing. The design will probably end up changing as long as I don't jack it up. I had an issue with it where I had to restore the thing, like I was talking about earlier. That for some reason I clicked on one thing. Any one of these items that you would be able to click on would send you to any one of these. It literally just sent me to government representation. So I could have clicked on record brief. It sent me to government representation. Contact us, government representation. I'm not sure why it started doing that or what caused that, but that's all there. Resources going to be VA forms, the DBQs, government representation, and then once you go to resources within here, we'll also change this up and give more availability to stuff to be able to click. So there'll probably be a section with Nexus letters as how they'd be written, but most of the stuff is very straightforward, and it's written in the manner of just like, hey, this is there. That's what's there. There's no changing this. There's no extra stuff that needs to be done to do it. It's basically you are now filling out your information and making it so that people understand that this is what you are doing, this is what you are dealing with, kind of thing. So it makes it like that. I'm not sure how many people like to game and stuff like that, but that's something that we're gonna do also. We're gonna make part of the community section. It's gonna be like a gaming thing. Annette, thank you for supporting me, Annette. I appreciate you. I can't even say it enough. Like I said, it's doing this to guide veterans to the benefits they've earned, which is basically our like motto, our mission. But it's just basically like, hey, we can only get better as veterans if we keep assisting each other and keep assisting. And we keep assisting ourselves to the point where we can better the next generation of veterans. And that's why I think it's important to do this, because the thing is we have the veterans we have now. There's no distinguishing. There's no difference to that. We have who we have now. We will continue to have veterans. The thing is if we can make the process better, process easier, process smoother, where veterans know what's going on, they know how to interact with the stuff, they know how to file a disability claim, that lessens the burden on other veterans, because now we are streamlining something that right now we are having problems comprehending and taking care of. The biggest issue we have is getting anything done the right way, I would say. That's one of the biggest issues that we're having right now is, hey, how can we fix this, and how can we make it that people are watching this, learning from it, and then passing it on to the next person? passing it on to the next person that can actually learn from this and they can actually teach somebody else. Because a lot of the times it is teaching that is going on between veterans, but a lot of the times it's not the correct way of teaching people. It's giving people wrong information. Or I heard from my boy when he filed this, and that, and he told me I should file it. That's how most of the stories go. And most of those stories are end up with just like, bro, I've been in an appeals for the past 5 years. My shit hasn't gotten approved. The VA sucks. I don't want to talk about it. I'm leaving. That's mostly how most of these stories go. But it's just like, when that buddy of yours told you what you had to do, did he show you what you had to do? Did he show you why he claimed this? Did he have documentation? Did he have evidence for it? Because most people just think, for some veterans, it's just like, hey, I'm going to file a disability claim and that shit's going to stick. I was just like, I'm in pain. 100%. The veterans 40 years ago, thank us for that. Yeah, and that's the crazy thing about it. And it's just like, this is going on and I'm assisting people now, and it's just like a lot of people didn't have this resource. This wasn't something that was available to people. So it's crazy to see that it's just like, this is information that could have assisted so many people back in the day, but the resources weren't there. Or the resources were there, there was just no way of getting resources to people. Now it's a phone call. Now you got cell phones. If you got a cell phone with the VA system, they'll just call you directly and leave you a message on your phone. Back in the day, it was a landline. If they didn't catch you on that landline, there wasn't answering machines that didn't get started till like what, the 80s, late 80s, I would say, I think, or maybe like early 80s. You weren't getting contact. If you was not in the house, you were not getting contacted for anything. The VA doesn't have as many people as it has now. And even with all the people now, they still don't have enough people. Like I said, there's 19 million of us veterans, and we got to service all these veterans. Some of y'all shouldn't get any damn service. Some of y'all's assholes. I say it plain out and simple. Some of y'all is assholes. And the thing is y'all wonder why y'all get the service y'all get. And some of y'all are just bitter. Understandable. The military does do that to us, but at the same time, you're bitter, but it's causing more friction and more tension with the system than it needs to, because you're making it seem like veterans should not get assisted because you had a bad experience. Oh, Dwayne Bellotto. I already know that. That's one of the things I preach here. They were just like Title 38. We even have it here on the page. Like, look. That's here in the flesh. The amount of times I've gone over this document here live is ridiculous. The amount of times I go in and explain this stuff to people is just like, hey, here's the Code of Federal Regulations. What was the disability claim you were talking about? Okay, let's see what you can get rated for it. What are the percentages? Are you filing for an increase? Is it worth filing for an increase? This is a document that most people, this is the cheat sheet for people. Like I said, I don't like using the word cheat sheet. I don't like cheating the system, but that's there. And then that's another thing too. If you're not computer literate, if you way older in generations and you having a hard time just dealing with your cell phone, it's going to be tough to get them on a computer to do this. But at the same time, that's when you need to start resourcing your damn kids. Them dependents that's getting some of these damn stuff, that's where you need to start resourcing them damn kids. And be like, hey man, sit your ass down. Show me how to do this. Look, I heard there was this guy on YouTube that told me I need to look at this document. I have no idea how to get to this document, but you know how to work a computer. Sit your ass down. That's what needs to be done. It was just like, you have kids or you got grandkids. I know if you a service member, you got a damn grandkid, and that grandkid woke up on that damn iPad or tablet and was running circles around your information. Sit your ass down, hey kid. How do I search for this? That man on YouTube told me to look for the Code of Federal Regulations, Title 38, Chapter 1. I got no idea what he talking about, but I need to find that shit. And I know you will be able to, and that's it. But that's the thing. A lot of people don't like, let's think outside the box, man. I know I get a lot of viewers that are older. And it's just like, I know you're probably viewing this stuff and you see me pull out the Code of Federal Regulations, and y'all look at me like, yo, what kind of wizardry is this dude doing? And people are just like, yo, what the fuck is this guy? Where did he pull this shit out from? They was just like, I'm able to switch between the different things. But at the same time, if you've never seen this before, this is overwhelming. This document is like everything. But then there's the M21-1 that most people don't even know about. They haven't even heard of that one. It was just like, said, bro is blessing all veterans who, yo, Diaz, what up, my man? When it comes to the VA, Diaz, if it's the same Diaz, I think it's the same Diaz. I think it's the same Diaz I served with. Is it the same Diaz I served with? I can't tell from the picture. I can't tell from his picture, but I think it is him. Yep, that's the same Diaz, same. See, that's another person I served with. That's another person I helped when it came to this stuff. It was just like, just helping people. see, it was just like, I still find people that I served with that'll come in, tune in, because I'm doing this on Facebook also. So if you have me on Facebook, it'll populate there. But it's just like, this is just information that's there. It's free information. It's just like, I'm just leading you to it. That's all I'm doing. It was just like the same way you can ask Jonathan how it was when I was his platoon sergeant. I helped everybody. You needed help, you just had to ask. I dropped what I was doing and I was helping you. That's it. It's the same thing now. I have the same mantra I had as a leader, as a veteran. It's just we have to assist each other because sometimes people just don't know. I was a bit older when I joined. There was a lot of service members. It's just like, hey, if you're 18, 19-year-old and I'm like 20 something, I've gone through a couple of other steps in life that you haven't. I'm going to have some wisdom. Now, does everybody want to take in the wisdom? No, but it's easy information. But like I said, when it comes to finding this information, if you are older and not tech savvy, grab your damn kids. Grab your grandkids. I bet you sure as hell they know how to work a damn YouTube. They will find anything you need to find on there with no problems. See, I appreciate that, Jonathan. I appreciate that. But that's what it was. It was just like helping people out. And that's what I do with this. It's like I said, with this, there's no charge to it. This is just me giving information to veterans, family members, dependents, spouses. If you have a question, ask. Don't hesitate. Ask. Put whatever it is you need to put in there. Just say it. Don't think twice about it. Ask the question. The worst thing you could do is not ask a question in this channel because it's going to go unanswered because you never asked it. But if you ask a question, I'm going to make sure I get you an answer, or direct you in the direction that you need to find in order to get your answer, so that way you are better involved and better aware of the stuff. Because all this information is free. Said no volume in the beginning. Yeah, I had no volume in the beginning. It was just my mic was muted. I didn't realize it, so apologies for that. But that's the thing that people need to understand with this. It's just like, this is free information. The Code of Federal Regulations is here. When I go through all this stuff, I pull out the CFR. I show you the PACT Act information. I show you the DBQs page so you can go and get it, even though I added that on my website so you can find that also. All these things here is just like when you look at these resources on the va.gov, this shit doesn't populate on the regular screen. You have to click and click and click and click. So it's just like, this is stuff that we need to make sure that we're showing people. I still remember you dropped everything you was doing to take me to the hospital when I tore my knee up. 4-hour drive to get me taken. Yeah. I remember. Damn launch stool. That was a drive, man. For to help me towards a nexus medical opinion. So the thing is this is the thing. When it comes to a medical opinion, it is a I'm gonna pull up the damn Word document. Give me a bit. See if I can get it to actually populate. There you go. So I got it on that one. Here we go. This is just a quick overview of what a nexus letter should look like. This is something you should be providing your doctor. I am not going to write a nexus letter for you. I am not going to tell you to go to an entity that's never seen you before to write one. This is what you want to take to your doctor. You have your doctor's information. Provide all that stuff on there. How long they've been, and it gives you the breakdown. Information, where they've been certified of, where they got the degree from, their license number, all that stuff there. Your information. You can put the VA claim number because that'll help also, because now it's just like I did this because of this. The introduction. I am Dr. So-and-so. I am a specialist and in cervical spines or something. Your issues with your upper back, that's who you want to go make sure that does it. Because like it says here, professional and internal medicine. When you get those nexus letters that are from a general doctor, it was just like, it's still a doctor. But at the same time, the weight it holds when you have a specialist in that specific field goes a long way compared to just a general doctor. Because the thing is, a general doctor has knowledge on a lot of things, but doesn't specialize in what you are filing a disability claim for. So that's why it's like, hey, if you have a private doctor, hey, I need a referral to a whatever it is. I want to talk to a specialist about this because I want to get diagnosed. I want to see this, and I want to be able to go back, have my study done from that expert, get information, and then I can have you as my medical provider fill this out, because now I have studies and stuff that come from the expert, but you're the one that's overseeing me, so you're going to write it. Statement of review. What did your doctor check? Your records, have they been treating you? How long they've been treating you? The statements you made as to why they started treating you, all that stuff goes in there. Imaging, laboratory results, clinical notes, all that stuff goes in there. You are also getting, if you're being seen by the VA, you are getting your C file. Get your documentation and your medical records from the VA, because you can use that also as part of the nexus letter for them to fill it out. Medical opinion, same thing. It's the at least likely as not, or it's more likely than not, or this definitely was caused by. It's just like, depending on that verbiage is very important, because it's your doctor saying yes. High chance, or a 95% chance, or whatever it is they want to put it as, is the reason that they got this issue, is the reason why they're dealing with this issue. That's what you want to make sure they're putting on there. Medical rationale. The rationale for this opinion is based on the following, and they have it broken down into different things. So they have it as a service-connected event, which is basically your doctor saying, this is off of what he told me, this is what caused it, when he caused it. The current diagnosis, I have him diagnosed with this, but this is off of what he's already been service connected to, or what he's already been diagnosed with to have, which was this disability. But I am currently diagnosing him also with that, this, and whatever else may be tied into it. That's why I said that DBQ goes into it, because now you can have what they're putting and what the DBQ shows they can also file for, that they can have a diagnosis for. The causal link, this is one of the ones that I know a lot of people miss out on, which is medical research, medical studies. If your doctor is an expert in this field, I can tell you he goes to conferences, he goes to like meets and stuff like that, that is doctors of the same field talking about, oh man, yeah, you heard about this new medicine, or you heard about this new piece of equipment that does this, this, and that. They're always talking about that and talking about studies that basically make it easier for them to do what they're doing and learn what they're doing. That's information that needs to be put, because it's just like, hey, if you have degenerative disc disease, and studies show that with the overweight of doing ruck marches with having over 100 plus pounds on your back and doing it for a consistent amount of distance or whatever the case leads to degenerative disc disease, that's a statement that needs to be put in there, and that study needs to be added on there. Because now that shit shows, it's just like, look, this is outside documentation that I'm using as a reference, because I know it's caused and it's linked it to time and service. That gives you that nexus connection. That gives you that connection of, no matter how far out it was, here's the study showing that this is one of the main causes for this injury. And you put that there. That's the link. Example is different studies, or showing it, or showing through what you did, that what happened, how it's caused worse, or how it's gotten worse because of the stuff that you've already been dealing with. The continuity of symptoms, when you reported it, when it happened, how it happened, all that stuff is vital information. All right, y'all, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second, y'all. Stand this up for a bit. All right, we'll do a little standing, because back's starting to tighten up some. So we'll do some standing. The lights is gonna be bright as hell on my eyes though, um but yeah, that's something that is just like, you have to make sure to do that, and that's something to pay attention to. Those are all definite things that happen, that is just like, it's documentation. You having that and showing that is information that is vital for you, for your success. The continuity of symptoms, depending on how long you've been out, whatever the case may be. If you have that documentation there, it's showing that, and it's just like, okay, you've been out of the system for this long, but you have this continuity of systems. Your doctor is also explaining that, hey, he got out in 2020. The past 5 years I've been seeing him, and he's been dealing with this issue. And that's something you're notating also. Addressing contrary evidence. Basically calling your CMP examiner a bullshitter in the cleanest way fashion, basically. It's basically you saying, or your doctor saying that, look, I saw what the CMP examiner gave you. I seen the information the CMP examiner provided. His diagnosis was wrong, because if you look at yada, 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 this explains that. Or you look at this part, this is the information that it is. Off of my diagnosis, my expertise tells me that this is how he should have been assessed. This is how he should have been diagnosed. This is the correct way of being diagnosed for this issue. Then you put that in there, and it's just like, you know what? Okay. Now your doctor is backing up like, hey, the last shit you got done was wrong. This is how it's supposed to look. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, and you put that signature, you put your buddy statement if you have one, you have any information that's pertinent that'll help with that. That's what you're doing. And you just adding that on there. Same thing with the DBQs, because now you have the Nexus letter, you tie that DBQ right on top of it, and now you have two documents that are being signed and completed by your medical professional. Your medical professional is doing this, so they're filling it out, they're putting that information in there, and it's saying, okay, this is the Nexus letter, basically connecting his time and service. And this is the disability benefits questionnaire, which is basically explaining what else I diagnosed him with because of this. Because you got to remember, those are also good for secondary claims. Because if you have the first one, a DBQ can explain it because you're still going to go. It's basically, it's a like highlighting, let's see something. Back. Records review, were the records review. So it's highlighting and asking, where was that done? Diagnosis, list the claim conditions that pertain to this questionnaire. And it gives you the list. The ICD code is basically the diagnostic code. So that you would have to go back to the CFR, search for whatever it is, because you saw it was a back issue. So that's musculoskeletal. Then it breaks it down here, what the different ones are. You would go to musculoskeletal. You check to it, get to where you need to on a DBQ, and you can put what the code is. When was it diagnosed? That's information your doctor fills out. Medical history. Does the veteran report flare-ups of the thoracolumbar spine? Do you have issues like while bending over, cutting the grass, shoveling snow, back spasms, back flares, stuff like that? You're on muscle relaxers, stuff like that. That's important information. The medication you're on is also important because the thing is if it has side effects, that also causes issues. That's something that most people also don't put. It's just like, if you have medication that's causing side effects, like, hey, I got muscle relaxers. I'm not supposed to be driving heavy machinery or doing anything of the sort. Why? Because I am using muscle relaxers. So that hinders you. That also takes in part when it comes to trying to get that TDIU. It goes into that little small section of it, because at the same time, it's just like, the medication I'm on hinders me from being employed. That's justification, but you have to be able to prove that. Remember, the TDIU is the easier, I wouldn't say it's an easier route because it's difficult to get, but it's you having that 70% in one or 40 in another and putting it that way and showing that, hey, because of this, I cannot work. Can't function. I can't do this. I can't that. That's where it's important, and that's where you have to make sure you're putting that into perspective for a VA rater and a CMP examiner. Thing is most people go through a CMP examiner and they don't know what to say. Most people start freaking out. We had what is it? Dash. He tunes in, and he was just like, man, I went in there and the CMP examiner didn't ask me on certain things. And I'm just like, yes, that's what happens in certain instances. The CMP examiner is not going to ask you questions. If you have the documentation, if you have everything you need to be correct, have what you need, have the information there, there's no need for me to ask you 21 questions. I'm not going to turn into 50 Cent. Just not. You already have what you need in there. It's just like, why would I need to ask you? Why would I need to continue to ask you extra stuff when your documentation proves all of it? If your documentation shows you have degenerative disc disease If you got imagery and stuff like that that's separate, because remember, that's something you would separate. If it's images, pictures, or anything like that, make sure it's separate, because that one big ass PDF is not helping your cause. You got issues and it's documented. They're going to look at it. They're going to measure what the CMP, what the CFR is looking for. I was just like, oh, you diagnosed with this. Okay. So you're diagnosed with this back issue. Let's see what the CFR says on this back issue. That depends. That's the biggest and easiest thing. It's just like, what is the problem you have? What does it fall under? I can see that you have degenerative disc disease, so you have back issues. Now we need to test you to see what your motion or your rate of flexibility is. How much can you bend? Stuff like that. That's what they're gonna ask. How does it affect you on a daily basis? And like I said, where veterans need to get better at is like, hey, currently I deal with this issue and it does this. Today, my back is feeling okay. You see, I'm standing and stuff like that. But then later, when I leave this stream, I'm going to be medicated. You could explain that to your doctor. I was just like, you showed up today, you might have been medicated. It doesn't feel as bad. But when it gets worse and when it's at its worst, this is what I deal with. And that's the part that veterans need to make sure they're explaining. Yes, today you're feeling okay. Yes, today or a couple of the days out of the week, you're okay. But when this shit hits the fan, this is where I'm at. This is the problems I have. This is how I can't operate. I got to be bedridden and stuff like that. That's the important information that veterans tend to leave out. When it comes to the PTSD or mental health evaluations, most veterans is just like, bruh, answer your questions and talk your piece. All them CMP examiners that are therapists or counselors or psychiatrists are not there to help you. That's how you gotta. It was like, look, I don't give a shit if you're here to help me or not. Stay professional, stay courteous, be nice. If they do a bad job, I have my short that I just made on that. And it's just like, hey, file a complaint. Tell them this is what happened. This is what you observed, and put down the details of how that CMP exam went, and then use that to file a claim against them. You could probably get another thing, because if you showed, it's just like, hey, if let's say you had to be checked for your back, your ankle, your knees, elbows, or whatever the case, and they didn't have I think is the gynometer, basically to check what your range of motion is, that already is a failed CMP exam. And you could tell them like, look, I went and I did this, and they didn't actually pull out the damn measurement to see what my actual motion range is. That's a bad CMP exam. You can file that. You file a claim. You put that in and be like, look, gynometer was not used. No percentage was used. He just asked me questions. Hey, put shit down. Shit happens, unfortunately, but that's the same thing. Like I said, you want to contract people the whole time, you gonna get shit people. Some people are gonna be like I tell people, you might get that high speed CMP examiner, and you might get that shit bag. Depending on where you are, the more prepared you are, the better off you'll be, because then you know it's just like, you know what? I did this. I have this. But now let me use this. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, I got this information. This is what this is getting me. Now I know I can at least use it in this manner. Which gets you, it's a big difference that way. It's all how you word the stuff. It's all how you document the stuff. It's all how you put all your documentation and all your stuff together. That is the biggest influence when it comes to being successful at your disability claim. Knowing what you're filing for is the other thing. Knowing how to file for it correctly, knowing what your actual, is there a diagnostic code for what you're trying to claim? Is what you are feeling or having symptoms named something else? Because you're not medical. You don't know this information exactly. So it's just like, you know what? What do I need to do this? How do I go about doing this? How do I write this in? How do I put this? Like I said, when I filed my first claim, I put back spasms. There's no such thing as back spasms. There's no diagnostic code for back spasms, but you wouldn't know that. you still filed as back spasms. So what does the CMP examiner look at? Now it's just like, okay, he put back spasms. Is it upper back? Is it lower back? I don't know. The CMP examiner don't know. You're the one that knows where your pain is at, but you just put you had back spasms. That changes your whole thing there too. So it's just like all these things are important for veterans. It's just like you have to educate yourself on this information. Find those, how can I put it? Because the thing is you have to find those outlets. All these channels, there's tons of channels on YouTube. And the more I keep seeing is like the more and more and more and more and more keep popping up. I keep on seeing more. Like now, it's just like maybe because it's just like my algorithm is starting to switch to that because I'm watching stuff because I want to educate myself and see what other people are talking about too. But at the same time, it's just like most people don't have a free resource. Most people ain't giving this information for free. Some of them are, but then some of them started out like this, and now all of a sudden they got programs, they got memberships for like $50+ a month to help you get a disability claim. And I was just like, look, if y'all gonna get all this back pay, I put it like this. If y'all gonna get all this back pay off of the information that I'm giving y'all, and y'all able to get yourselves from like 20% to 100%, I didn't charge you. Help a brother out. Just don't forget about the little guy. That's the only thing I'll say. Don't forget about the little guy. But as the thing is just like that's information that's there. It's free information. It's stuff for you to obtain. It's stuff for you to use. It's stuff for you to take advantage of. Because the thing is it's there. It's free. Nobody's charging you for this. Nobody's gonna try to extort money out of you. Nobody's gonna try to tell you like, you know what? I'm gonna help you file this claim, and I'm gonna take $4,000 from you. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd love to keep doing that. I would love to continuously make like $3,000 off of everybody I helped. Who wouldn't, right? But at the same time, it's just like, how are you actually trying to benefit people, and how are you actually trying to help people if you're just trying to charge them for whatever you possibly can to get them where you're at? I was just like, there's tons of channels, and people keep popping up. People have certain stuff, and it's just like back spasm/contractions. Most people just put them as back spasms, and then when I filed for back spasm, that shit did not appear on my damn. It did not appear on there, because you can look at it. Let me see. I'm going to the CFR. There's 7 matching results for spasms. And this is what pops up for it. These are the different things that pop up for it. These are the different instances where it comes out. Motility disorder, alphabetical answers. So this is 7204. Let's see if we find that. So let's close this. Go back. Go back. Was that 7104? We will go. Oh, it says 7104, right? Where'd it go? That was what they saw, right? 7104? Or am I bugging? What the hell did we just search? Man, I'm losing my mind. I believe it was 7104 we just looked at. Was it 7104? Yo, Tim Rember, what's up, man? I was just like, where did it just go? I know it was 70, it was 7 something. Now I can't even find it. What did it say? This is 7204. Got all the numbers jacked up. Numerical index of disabilities 7204. And this is esophageal motility disorder. So it's not even for back spasms alone. It's for you having a spasm. You saw lumbar spine. Hold on, let me see. Because they have it as schedule of ratings for musculoskeletal. So confirmed by findings such as swelling, muscle spasm, or satisfactory evidence of painful motion, not greater than 170 degrees. Not greater than or muscle spasm guarding or localized tenderness not resulting. Where what I've seen a lot of is when it comes to muscle spasms, it's like if they see it, it helps. I was just like, what are the chances that you're at the CMP exam and your back just decided, you know what, it's showtime, and just that shit doesn't happen like that. That's why I find it crazy that it's just like, yeah, it's usually back spasms or spasms of any sort are something that are being, it's caused by something else. So lumbar contraction, let me see. It doesn't show up on there. Hey Spark, appreciate you as always. Yeah, see, so I'm looking up lumbar contraction and it's not populating anything in the CFR. Let's see contraction. Make sure it's in Title 38 though. You got 6 evaluation, muscle swelling, hardened abnormally in contraction, test of strength, evaluation of muscle disabilities, schedule of ratings, contraction. More, let's see what this one says. Evaluation of muscle disabilities. Simple wound of muscle. Through and through or deep penetrating wound of short track from a single bullet. High velocity missile. High velocity missile. So it doesn't really show anywhere where that is. Because it's basically from the way they explained it to me, Annette, was basically they said like, hey, yes, you have back spasms. The thing is that the reason you have back spasms is not just because your back is the way it is. Said, Emma, are you accredited with the VA and Office of General Counsel? I am not accredited by the VA or the Office of General Counsel. If I was VA accredited, I would be actually helping people file their claims. I don't actually help people file their claims. What I make sure to do is I make sure to show them where the information is that they can obtain so that they know how to do it themselves. There's more to bring awareness to people as to how to file their disability claims. I'm not doing it for them. Because if that was the case, then I would definitely charge people. But this is free information that's obtainable by everybody. It's all public source information. So I don't do it. And if you're accredited, you can't, if you work for the VA or something like that, you can't have a YouTube channel basically doing what I do. Because it's like a conflict of interest for them to do that. So no, I am not accredited with the VA or of General Counsel. He said exactly, vets be careful here. It's funny how it's funny how a person that has not been here, first time they show up to the channel, is going to tell vets to be careful. But I can assure you, you can ask any other vet that has been here for some time that all the information I give them is directly from the va.gov. I don't give my personal, I give my personal opinion on stuff that is personal opinion. But besides that, I am giving you a free service where I am giving you information directly from the VA source. This isn't no, I got it from this website, or like a lot of veteran channels that happen to have a entity that pays and does that. It was just like, it's kind of interesting that the wording that you use, exactly, let's be careful here. I was just like, it's and that's I think the that leads me to the part where this is the problem we have with veterans. It was just like, you don't know what you're talking about. You've never been here before, but you are already making an assessment and already making statements that are contradictory to actually benefiting veterans, which is the same thing with so many veterans when they decide to say, hey, you know what? The VA sucks. I was like, no, the VA might have sucked for you, but it doesn't suck for all the other veterans that use it. So I just find that interesting. First thing a person comes in here, never been in this channel before, never said anything, is just like, oh, be careful here. I was just like, hey, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm hoping you're a veteran, but at the same time, if you are a veteran, you're part of the problem with the veterans of all veterans, basically. Because if a person is trying to give free assistance to people instead of scheming them, taking for their money, or let me guess, you must be one of those entities that probably does scheme people. So you're probably telling them, like, hey, you probably shouldn't listen to this guy, and you should probably go to one of these entities so that they can make money off of you. It's easy to tell when people stop by the channel. Because if you're not being positive and the first thing is to be contradictory, you're part of the reason why vets are the way they are. But it's okay. It's cool. But as we were saying before, what was his name again? MM. It's always those people. It's always people that have no subscribers, never done anything, never published anything, that are the ones that are quick to say something. Appreciate you stopping by though. But like I said, with this is just basically, there's nothing there for back spasms. So there's no information there basically highlighting that. There's nothing that shows where the back spasms is or where that is. So that's something you have to look for. But like I said, this is just information that you have to obtain. Most people don't get shown this regulation. Most people don't know what the Code of Federal Regulations is. Most people have never heard of the Code of Federal Regulations. Plain and simple. Most people don't know what this document is. Most people don't know in the regulation. If you served in the military, you know that when you got hemmed up or they tried to correct you or whatever, if that NCO knew what he was talking about, that NCO knew what the regulation was to be able to tell you. Because most of the time, I learned that the hard way. When it came to soldiers asking, it was just like, what regulation says that? And I was just like, you know what? I can already tell I'm be correcting this soldier plenty of times. Let me make sure I got this. It was just like, hey, if I'm making a correction on your hairstyle, hey, 670-1 paragraph yada 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 says this. There you go. And it has it there. DA Pam has it this way. And you know, and explaining it like that. And it's easier because then now that soldier understands. It's just like, okay, I know what he's talking about. I know where he's referring to it from. So now I can understand. It was just like, you know what? Okay. I see what it is he's doing. I see where he's coming from. I see why he's correcting me and the reason he's correcting me and why he's putting it this way. Now I understand this. Boom. I got it done. And you just leave it at that. But for most people, it's just like, you learned all the stuff you learned while you were in service, but you seem to have forgotten all that you learned while in service. You forgot the discipline. You forgot the attention to detail. Because I think the attention to detail, I think, is one of the biggest factors when it comes to assisting people. If you fail to put the attention to detail when it comes to filing your disability claim, That's where you miss out on documents that you could have had. That could have been a buddy statement. That could have been a nexus letter. That could have been um a personal statement. That could have been a DBQ. That could have been that one x-ray that you got that they put it on disk, but you never actually copied it over to a computer or something like that. And you just swore it was in your record. Come to find out it wasn't. And then you submitted it as evidence without that in there. And now you're missing vital information. That's something that can lead to you getting a denied claim. Submitting the wrong DBQ from the wrong month can have your stuff kicked back. Those are things that are there that is just like, this is there for you to, there's no need to try to interpret this. This is literally going to tell you what it is. Figure out what your disability rating is. If you're filing for stuff, if it's already service connected, go for increases first. Then make sure you actually are diagnosed with the stuff you're doing. It's main things like that that is just like, people need to make sure that they're aware of, because that's the thing where it's just like, you don't understand that and you don't see that, and it's just like, that's stuff that's pertinent, that affects your disability claim. That's something that changes your whole claim in its entirety. You missing that one piece of documentation, or you not filing for this, or you not having everything separated out and have like, hey, this is my back issues, these are my ankle issues. If you're just submitting it all as one big ass file, most people don't want to read a big ass file. You might be going to a VSO. You might not be happy with it. Especially with this guy that said it was just like, are you accredited? Shit, most people have issues with the accredited people that are doing it. Why most of the time do these entities make sure to do a great job on what they're doing? Is because of the fact that they're going to take your money. That's why they work so hard. If I know I'm going to make $3,000 off of you, best believe, for something that I know I could have done, you could have done yourself, and I'm going to get $3,000 off it, best believe I'm going to make sure I do everything in my power to make sure it's right. You're going to do that. They're going to do that. A VSO gets paid salary. They're going to get paid the same amount. They probably work for whatever thing. They can't charge you more. They can't have an outside entity. They can't, so you can't basically claim or use it as like, hey, I use a VA service and I run a VA service and I'm VA accredited. You're not supposed to do that. You can get your accreditation taken away by that. That's why you see there's a couple of channels. There's like a dude that sells a book or some shit, and he used to be a VA rater. Now he's no longer a VA rater, but that's something he tries to make sure to, implement and say, like, I used to be a VA rater and that's how I know this stuff. I was just like, if you have all these accredited people, you're probably a big organization. But if you got all these mental health evaluations, all these nexus later writers, all these DBQs, all these diagnosis machines, it's just like you're playing the system, man. It's just like, let's be honest. You're playing the system. You trying to get one over on the system by using a resource that everybody else seems to be using for the same entity, for the same shit, and all of a sudden you thought it was going to be any different. Like, shit don't work like that. It's a reason why, like I said, the shit is being changed for a reason. Stuff is being adjusted for a reason. My camera over here, no. I was like, the stuff is being changed. They're making these changes for that reason. Oh man. Okay. But that's why that Benefits Act is the way it is. That's why it's changing. That's why it's being implemented for that reason. Because of that. Because of service members being taken advantage of. If you're being taken advantage of the stuff that you're doing and the documentation you're doing, and it's clear as day that it's just like some of these entities are just not there to assist veterans. They're there to prey on veterans. They are there to take advantage of the information that they know you don't know. If you don't know the information, it's easy to fool somebody if they don't know what the hell you're talking about. I can make something, all the stuff I can say is nonsense. But the thing is I'll go and I'll show you on Title 38 where it's at. You got a question? I'll show you where it's at. I'm not charging you $3,000 for it or $1,400 for a Nexus letter. I was just like, hey, here's what a template is. What I suggest is send this to your doctor so they have a heads up as to, oh, okay, this is how I do this shit. This is how it's supposed to look like. Instead of it like, hey, I need you to write this letter, but I don't know how the fuck I'm supposed to do this myself, but I hope you can help me. I'm going to be kind of hesitant too, and I'm going to just be like, you know what? I don't know what the hell this person was talking about, but we're going to leave it, you know what? We'll leave it as is. As is, it's going to stay like that, and that's what it is, but we can't do that. We got to make sure we're assisting people. We got to make sure we're showing them the right way of going about doing things and showing them how it's supposed to be done, because that's where we're lacking as veterans. We ain't helping each other out. We're trying to downplay people. Like, you got people coming in just to downplay when they've never taken part in any of these workshops. I've been doing these workshops for the past year plus, and I have had multiple people come back and be like, yo, thank you. You helped me get to 100%. That's the best feeling you can get. I was just like, hey, man, what you told me, I filed this and I went about this. I used this document that I ain't even think of, the buddy statement and stuff like that. Got them to 100%. That's all I need. The amount of people that I have, like the person that stopped by, Diaz, I helped him out. He had questions. Hey, do this. This is what you want to do. I didn't tell people how to scheme the system. I just told them, hey, here's the regulation. This is what you have. This is the documentation. Get this, and this together. Put these together. Make sure you have all these identifying objects that you need to be successful and use them. That's it. I was just like, I'm not doing the heavy lifting for you. Ain't nobody do the heavy lifting for me when I got myself to 100% PNT. But I had all the shit in my record. For some, it's getting the stuff after the fact. For some, is getting and obtaining information after they've been gone, getting that diagnosis, getting that Nexus letter, getting that service connection. What you're trying to do is get service connection. That's the main thing. It's not, that's what people worry about, trying to get a higher rating at all times. It's just like, look, we getting older. Our ratings ain't going to get better. So I'm sorry to say that our bodies are not getting better with time. We are not aging and our bodies are healing. That's not how it's working. It's basically the opposite. We are doing what we are doing and our bodies are getting more tired. They're getting more fragile. So you're dealing with more stuff. So that's something you need to pay attention to, because the thing is as long as it's service connected, you can file for an increase down the line. And filing for that increase can be a major change into your disability rating. Because like I said, when you go and you look at this, like I said, you might be at 10% for whatever it is you have. Or you might be service connected and have 0%. But it's gotten worse. That jump in percentage goes a long way. A jump from 30% to 50% is a big difference. Because look, if you're at 30, right, and you add another 50, takes you to 65. So if you had two things at 30, but one of them jumped to another 20%, instead of it just being 30, now it's 30 plus the 50. Or you can start at 50 and add the 30. Still gets you to 65%. Now you're getting paid at the 70% mark. You file for another increase. It's at 75, right? Or 65, right? We were at 65. So you're at 65, you got another 10%. 10% gets you to 69. It's not going to push you to the next thing, but that lowers the amount you need to get to 95. See what I'm saying? Those little small things, because the thing is a lot of people try to go through the system and they just want to get these high value things connected. And most of the time it's a secondary that gets connected. It's not even the primary thing. It's like Like I said, most of these other channels, a lot of channels do that. They're just like, hey, file this. Then you file this as a secondary, this as a secondary, and that as a secondary to that because they connect to each other. Boom, get a diagnosis. You're 100%. People go through that, and now they're going and cutting through here, cutting through there to try to find a way to just make it that it's just like, I got tinnitus. Now I got to get diagnosed with migraines. Now the migraines started messing me up so much that it gave me sleep apnea. Then my sleep apnea has made it so bad that my I have insomnia. And it's just like they just connect all that stuff. It's like, is it truthful? Most of the time, no. If it's documented already, it's 10 times easier to do. But when you're trying to do this after the fact and you haven't had anything connected, it's like, yeah, you're going to go through a longer process because now you are trying to claim that that one issue that you have has caused this many issues, has caused 3 other underlying issues that are drastically affecting your way of life. You need to make sure you have the documentation to prove that. You have to have the evidence to prove that. You have to have medical records. You have to have that diagnosis and stuff like that. And a lot of the times people don't have that and don't realize it. It's just like, yes, this is important to have. If you don't have it, it's hard to get information. If you don't have any of that stuff from that time period, it's impossible to prove that you did it in service. If you definitely didn't get seen while in service, it's definitely like, you know what? Hey, bro, we don't know when you did this. You're claiming you did this while you were in the military. Your military record don't show anything about you messing up your back. You need to prove to us that this was caused by the military. And a lot of people don't know and don't use that buddy statement. I was with Cruz on this day, when we were doing, it was an air assault training or some shit. He jumped onto one of the damn beams and he fell off of the damn weaver. Was it, what the hell do you call it? Was it the weaver? I forget what you called it. The damn logs that you had to weave through. I called it the weaver. That's what I called it. I can't remember what the actual name was. But I fell off of the top of some shit, and that's how I got my back issue. I got up from it and I continued doing it. I didn't go and get seen. But ever since that day, I've had that issue. Now, your buddy was there and he got the assessment. He got his air assault wings too. And it was just like, you know what? I was there when that happened. It was that day he went through and he was limping throughout the rest of the obstacle course. And then he kept on complaining about it ever since. That's a nexus. That's a buddy statement. Now you have somebody saying that, yes, I was there when this happened. Now it's you explain that to your private doctor, and your private doctor is assessing that and seeing like, hey, if you fell from yay high and you landed on your back, it probably did a contusion. You know, I don't know medical jargon like that, but that's why you get those medical professionals to do that. You get that together, and now you have your medical provider with a nexus. You have a buddy statement. You got diagnosed with whatever your back issue is that you're filing for, and now you go through the process that way. If you're not doing it that way, you're not going to be successful. If you just think you're just going to submit a document and you're going to get the thumbs up, that shit don't work that way. And that's what veterans need to change. That we need to change the mentality. It's just like when we do these things, there's a reason why we do them the way we do. They are caused by this. They were created by this. This is what's going on. So that's something that people need to keep in mind when doing this. Is just like, look, file your disability claim. File every single damn thing you got wrong with you. If it's diagnosed, file it. I don't care what it is. File it. If you have a diagnosis for it and you can get a nexus letter for it, or you can have something tying that stuff, file it. Don't hesitate to do it. If you remember your file to intent date, when you submit that file to intent date, that is the beginning date. You have a whole year from there. So if you know within this next year, you are going to be looking for documentation, you are going to go to the doctor and get information, you want to do that. Damn, I was just kidding about the damn obstacle. but there you go. Rooster Prime says, I fell 40 feet off of an obstacle in basic training and smashed every platform on the way down. That's something you have to have notated. That's something that I can assure you, if you still have any buddies from that basic training, they remember that tumble. They remember being like, oh shit. Shit. That could be cause for PTSD for them. Just like, look, man, I was just there. I was there. I was there when I seen them drop those 40 feet. That could be a traumatic instance. It's just like, I don't want to get on the damn rappel tower after that shit. I just seen him go. No, I'm not doing a tower. Nah, I'll pass. And those are the things that, without mention, most people don't think about getting a buddy statement or think about putting that in writing. All those issues and all those things that were stated, anything like, that's why it's just like, sometimes you just got to go and reminisce about your time in the military, and just shit will pop into your head that you didn't realize that happened to you. I was like, damn, I did fall fucking 40 feet. I did sprain my ankle that one time when we went on this damn run, where I was holding the guide on and we switched and we were running around the company and I tripped on something and I fell. Stuff like that. It was just like, that stuff that, yeah, you might not think about it much, but at the same time, that could have been the reason why you got the injury you got. You didn't get seen for it. That's a contributing factor. But since you ain't get seen for it, you ain't know about it. You just left it as is. And you were like, you know what? It is what it is. I was doing this run. I got injured and I kept on running. And that was it. If you have that information, somebody was there with you. Somebody was there. You probably, and the thing is as you get older and you separate from the military longer, it gets harder to obtain that documentation, but it's still trying to find something in that manner to connect it. You have to start thinking outside the box. And that's what I like telling veterans. You got to think outside the box when it comes to getting these benefits, using the benefits. The benefits are there. I was just like, look, the Army took its time from me. I'm getting my time back. I'm using my GI Bill. I'm about to graduate with my master's degree in May. Those are things that I'm doing. And it's because of the fact that it's just like, you know what? I learned my GI Bill pays for this. The VRE program pays for this. The GI Bill just got extended. Now it's 48 months if you served more than one contract. So that's one thing people need to pay attention to. If you served one contract in the military, you might just get the 36 months. But if you were using a Montgomery GI Bill, that also got extended. So you might be able to switch over. But there's a time limit as to when you can use the Montgomery GI Bill compared to the post 9/11 GI Bill. Two different things. But if you serve that time, thank you, Annette. I appreciate that. Just two more classes, my capstone and my last class, and I graduate in May. That feels good to say that. Graduate in May, have that, then I'll have nothing but time to answer questions and get more in depth and make sure that make sure we have an outstanding website that has all this information, and I'll have time to edit it, put stuff in there and all that stuff. But that's just stuff that's there, and that's stuff that people need to realize. It's information. It's free information, y'all. All the stuff I do, free information. All the stuff you can find, free information. You are your best advocate. And people don't understand that. You are your best advocate. You know what you're dealing with. You know how you got injured. You know where you got injured. You know who was around when you got injured. You know you went to the doctor, or you know you didn't go to the doctor. You know you've gotten seen for this or whatever. You are your best resource. You need to make sure that that resource is educated to know to utilize all the information you already know about yourself. Use that, take advantage of it. Look into the CFR, see what the CFR tells you, see what document this is, see what document that is. Okay, CFR says if I'm filing for this disability, this is the rating I should get. Doesn't mean you're going to get it. This is what you think you should get off of the criteria and the symptoms that I'm currently showing. I can only move it this percentage. That's what it is. I might get seen, and maybe when I bend, I can't bend as much that day, or I bend too much. And it's just like, you know what? It's not as bad. But if it's service connected down the road, it can get worse. And that's what you got to do, though. The whole thing is to try to make sure things are service connected. Because once it's service connected, that's when people start looking into the secondary stuff and adding all the connecting this to that you can go to those other channels for. I ain't doing all that. There's a bunch of stuff that connects to one thing or another. But the thing is if that's how you're just trying to scheme the system, I'm not here to try to help veterans scheme the system. I'm here to try to help veterans know what the system is, but it's not only just disability claims, it's your entitlements. It's these other programs that are available through the VA. It's learning and knowing that you can use the Zach, what up? It's learning that you can use the VA loans. Knowing that the VA loans is something that you can continuously use as long as you don't have more than one outstanding VA loan available. The VRE program, using the veteran readiness and employment, where you can get a job or get basically school training or education, which is being paid for by the VA through the VRE, not counting your GI Bill. So you can literally go to school for 4 years, get your bachelor's degree, and then decide to use your GI Bill to get your master's degree. And literally you just went through all that education and didn't pay anything for it. And then you also received a housing allowance to it. There's also tax exemptions, depending on your property tax exemptions. For some states, you don't have retirement income, doesn't get taxed. Some states don't have state taxes. Some don't have your retirement pay, doesn't get taxed. Some give you an extensive amount of property tax exemptions that are thrown on top of what extensions you have. You got hunting licenses, fishing licenses, driver's license. You got the personalized driver's licenses. You get depending on what state you are, because like in the state of Texas, if you came out of Texas, it's called the Hazelwood Act. It basically pays you go to school for free. So literally you can go use the Hazelwood Act, get your school paid for, use the VRE, get a master's degree, then use your GI Bill to work on your PhD. You just got 3 degrees and you didn't pay for not a single one of them. People don't know that. People don't pay attention to that. The biggest thing that people like to pay attention to is just like, oh, the disability compensation. Don't get me wrong. That shit is great. Because it's for the rest of your life you're going to get that. But at the same time, all these other benefits you can take advantage of for the rest of your life. And then also, once you get to 100% P&T, you got the DEA for your dependents education, which gets them a stipend. And depending on what state you're in, your dependents may be able to get free schooling because they're a service member's spouse, dependent, or a surviving spouse or surviving dependent. For some states, even with the property tax exemptions, if you're a surviving spouse, you can use that to your advantage. You can file for that tax exemption and you can continue getting it as long as you stay in the house and as long as you don't remarry. For some, they even let you pass it down to the kids, depending on the state. So that's a big thing that is... Those are all things that I just mentioned, and that's not even scratching the surface of all the things that are available through the VA. Whole health, adaptive car, the car loan or the car grant, the adaptive home grant. There's just like so many resources out there that is just like, all this stuff is there. It's just most veterans don't know how to do it. All they do is they concern themselves just with the disability compensation. Then after that, it's just like they're out in the wind when it comes to knowing anything else when it comes to the VA. And most just go like, you know what? I'll go to va.gov. And when you go to va.gov, you probably look at it and just like, holy shit, I ain't got no info in here. I was like, this is a lot of info here that is just like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to look at. I don't know what I'm looking at. But there's all sorts of programs, all sorts of resources for veterans that veterans need to start taking advantage of. That is not just only the compensation. You have to educate veterans on this stuff because it's available to you. It's free resources. And most of the stuff you ain't paying for. All this stuff is because you decided to raise your right hand and swear an oath to the Constitution. Off of all that, you get all these benefits. You just need to look for them. Same thing like with the VA loan. Most people don't know about the electrical efficiency mortgage. People probably be like, what the fuck is that? I was just like, well, that's if you are buying a new home, you can add an actual benefit to your home, electrical wise or efficiency wise, that can just be added onto the loan. So you're not paying out of pocket for it. Like literally, if you have a older home or something like that, and your windows need to be updated, you would be able to use the electric efficiency mortgage clause within the VA loan to get it looked at, see how much is covered, see how much the cost is, and then the VA will verify with the lending process. Like, you know what? It's gonna cost $6,000 to replace all these windows in your home, right? You're not going to have to pay anything out of pocket directly. What's going to happen is the VA is going to pay that contractor, pay that entity to make all those windows change. And that $8,000 bill or whatever the bill is just going to be thrown on top of your mortgage. So now it's depending. If it's $300 or less, you don't need any proof for, like, you don't need to be authorized. If it's like under 3,000, then you need to have like an electrician come out and say like, this is the cost benefit for that. If it's going to be over 3,000, or I think it's over like 6,000, I forget what let me see if I could pull it up. Where's electric? I know I have it here somewhere. Okay, so here's the breakdown. So the breakdown is for the tiers for the make sure I'm doing this right. Energy efficient mortgage. So there's 3 different tiers. The first tier, is improvements up to $3,000. Improvements totaling from $3,000 to $6,000. Then there's improvements through an interest rate reduction refinance loan. So basically, if you're refinancing it or something like that, you can look into updating it while you're refinancing it. If it's improvements totaling $3,000 to $6,000, you basically have to have an energy audit to show that that's what it is. So it's like, hey, you're buying this house. So it's just like, well, you're purchasing all these new windows. The cost effectiveness of adding these new windows, because you had those old windows, you're going to save this amount in energy cost because now the heat stays in, the cool stays in when you're using it. That's going to save you whatever amount of dollars over the life of the mortgage. And they see that, it was just like, damn, he's going to save like that's a good chunk of change. It's going to save more than what he's going to pay to actually make this change. All right, let's put this in here. It also brings up the value of your home, but it also isn't something that is you paying it directly out of pocket. That is something that's added onto your mortgage. So it's basically, remember, it's a 0 down payment anyway for your VA loan. So literally you just purchased a home without having to have that 10% or that 30,000 or that 40,000 to put down. And now you were also able to fix up windows that needed fixing. It was up to $6,000. You just fixed your windows, didn't pay no down payment. Basically, that extra $40,000, $50,000 that you would have used in order to pay for the down payment and to fix the windows. Now, if you still have that, you can go ahead and use that to invest into the home, which is another $40,000 thing in value you can add to your home while moving it. See what I'm saying? Like those are the things that people don't realize and don't think of. And it's just like, I use the energy efficient loan, and the thing was I didn't even know about it. I found out because I was looking at the stuff through my home loan things, and I was looking at VA loans. I was looking up different programs and stuff like that. And then I was just like, energy efficient mortgage. I was just like, that sounds interesting. Let me look this up. Looked into it. The person that was lending through hadn't even heard about it. Then I told him about it. He looked into it. He was like, "Yeah, we could do this. Like we can actually get you this audit. We have a person here. They can do the audit, and they do that. I was just like, you have all the windows. You want to change them? Cool. Do the windows over. And that's it. So it provides protection against heat, cold, pollution, and moisture. So the thing is what you can do. You can put a solar water heater. You can put solar panels. You can put weatherproofing, modifying furnace efficiency, new insulation, storm doors, or windows. That's what's basically covered with that. You are not able to put a brand new AC unit in. You are not able to put vinyl siding on your home. You're not able to replace your Energy Star appliances. So you can't just go out and buy that brand new fridge. You can't go and buy out a new dishwasher and stuff like that. You can't get a new roof or new shingles on the thing. So there's certain things that you can do to update your home, but then certain things, what most people want to do, you can't. But hey, a solar water heater goes a long way. Solar panels, that's energy saving regardless. Now it's going to be more costly than what it's going to be over the 6,000. But like I said, if it's $6,000 over and you have an audit showing that over the life of your mortgage, you are going to save more money than you are spending on these solar panels, most chances are it gets approved and thrown on top of there. Because it's just like, hey, look, once these solar panels are up, they're not paying for electricity. They might be getting paid for their electricity. And that's stuff to keep in mind. So those are all different things that is just like, I don't know how many rambles I just went off of all the different benefits that are besides compensation. So you know you're going to get the money, but now you have all these things that contribute to assisting you with what you're doing, with your home, with your dependents getting stuff. All that stuff is very important information and stuff to see, and good to know that it's just like, Vin, appreciate seeing you. I know I don't do these as much. I don't get on I don't stream on TikTok as much as I used to. It just be dumb. And it's about to go away supposedly, so we'll see how about that is. But it's all these different things that veterans just need to keep in mind, need to be aware of. Is just like, this is all information that's available to you. If you're planning to buy a new home, look into the different programs that the VA loan has to offer, because the energy efficient one, that's a big thing. If you're getting brand new windows, that goes a long way. You're getting brand new windows, you're adding new windows, and you don't have to pay for the cost up front. Yeah, you're going to pay for it because it's in the mortgage, so your mortgage payment may go up a little. But at the same time, if you didn't have the cash on hand to say, hey, I'm going to spend $6,000 to fix and put brand new windows, that goes a long way when you can just put it on the mortgage and you still going to save money because you're not wasting as much on energy. So it pays itself off. But there's tons of different stuff you can use when it comes to the VA loan. There's programs, and some, like I said, some of these programs are like hidden features. It's just like, damn, I didn't even know this existed. Some of them are like hidden. Some people don't know about a lot of the stuff. And it's just like, this is information that, hey, if you learn from it, you obtain it, it allows you to be better off and allows you to teach somebody else. Because a lot of people, what they end up doing is like, with the VA loan, some people use it. Yo, Brian, Happy New Year, my man. With that, a lot of people, what they do is just like, some people get into real estate doing that. Most people never thought the process, because if you go and get a VA loan, the VA loan, you can use the VA loan as many times in the rest of your life as you can. The only thing is when you buy a home with the VA loan, you are supposed to reside in that residence, and it's supposed to be your primary residence for at least the first year. After that, you can refinance, go and buy another home, no down payment. A lot of veterans will do this. They'll buy one of those multi-unit homes. Some purchase a townhouse. With each side, they live on one side, rent out the other. After that year, they're renting out both sides. And now you have income from here, income from there, and it's paying off your mortgage and then some. then that just leads you to have passive income. And that's what it is. That's why it's like it's easy to do this stuff because it's passive income you are having. Your disability check is passive income. That's automatic. That's passive income. That's income you're gonna get for the rest of your life. Now, if you got a bunch of properties that are bringing you in money, that's also passive income. That's off of the benefits and the entitlements that you earned from serving this country. So those are the many things that people need to realize and they need to pay attention to. It's just like you can get into real estate. You can change the future of you and your family drastically by taking advantage of all these benefits that are available to you. You served, you sacrificed, it's your turn to pay attention to that. It's your turn to look into those things. I was like, you know what? I didn't get to spend as much time with this. What can I do? How can I do it? I didn't get to go to school like I wanted to while I was serving. Well, there's the VRE program. There's the GI Bill. I want to get to work in this field. I was a MP, but I want to get into cybersecurity. Okay, use the VRE program, and basically they can put you in a program that teaches you how to get into cybersecurity or into computer programming or stuff like that. It's just like all these resources are there, just that veterans stay away from it, or you have veterans that are just basically like, you know what? The VA sucks. And then that person gets all that attention, and then you're telling the person that the VA sucks, but the VA just provided you with a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, maybe even a PhD, provided you with a no down payment home, let you fix your windows and actually update the property and actually add value to the property because you fixed it. And a whole bunch of stuff. You got dependents that get a stipend monthly for going to school while you're 100% PNT, or you go to certain states where they go in for free, or you go in for free and you ain't even using the VRE or the GI Bill yet before you use that. And that's not even counting once you get to 100% PNT, and then you have the loan forgiveness on top of that. Oh, just like the shit can keep on going forever and ever. But if you don't know about any of these resources, you ain't never going to find them or obtain that information. You're not going to get there and be like, you know what? Oh, shit. Damn, I just went to school for free and I got 3 degrees. Now I can apply to whatever damn job I have with a bachelor's, master's, and PhD in this field. Then I could go back to the VRE and was like, you know what? I need assistance with getting a job in this. I need to go and talk to somebody to help me build up my resume, do this, fix up my LinkedIn, stuff like that. That's all stuff that's available to you that you can use to make yourself better and be a integral part of society after your time in the military. So that's stuff, like I said, there's so much stuff that's there. It's just looking for it and finding it. You got questions? Ask. I'm gonna hop off for a bit. Probably do some gaming. I'll probably be on the Twitch channel. Twitch is I'm streaming on there too. Didn't get it for free. We paid for it. No, I know that. You don't get any of this for free. You paid for it. You earned it. All these benefits you earn it. That's why, like I said, guiding veterans to the benefits they've earned, because none of this is free. All our disabilities, we paying for that shit. But at the same time, it's just like we made sacrifices. Now we're getting our due back. The thing is most people don't know what these benefits are or what these entitlements are. And that's all it is. I was just like, you signed up, you volunteered, the military messed you up in certain ways, you're getting compensated for it. It's basically workers' comp, just at a whole different level. Because the thing is you are part of that 1% that decided to serve this country. It's only 1% of the population of the United States that has served this country. So you fall into a very small niche, a very small group of people that decided to do what we did. But yes, you are going to get rewarded for it. There are benefits for it. And like I said, not everybody gets 100%. Not everybody's supposed to get 100%. But just having 10%, you can use the VRE program. As long as you're a veteran, you can use the VA loan. There's no other stipulations to that. You don't have to be 100%. Most of the criteria and most of the stuff you don't have to be 100% for. 100% gives you the knowing of, hey, you probably ain't going to get reevaluated, Champ VA, and Chapter 35. And then depending on your state, what your state does. But besides that, you still got the ability to use all these benefits I just mentioned, except for the Chapter 35 for your dependents. You get to use that and you don't have to be 100%. And Champ VA. You don't have to be 100% to use the VRE program. You don't have to be 100% to use your GI Bill. You don't have to be 100% to use the energy efficient mortgage or get a VA loan. You don't have to be 100% for any of that. Shit. And even active duty service members, you got your tuition assistance and you got your credentialing assistance, which they did make changes to because people weren't using it. But that's also because people didn't know. Most people didn't know about the credentialing assistance and having a $4,000 limit for the year, every year. So if you did that for 20 years, you had $80,000 worth of certifications that you could have done while in service. Most people didn't know that shit. I didn't know that. I know about tuition assistance, and there's that cap that you have, and most of the schools that are on the installation and stuff like that provide you information because their credit hours and their cost is going to be what the TA covers. The same thing like one of the schools I first started out with was American Military University. That's what they did. They covered the tuition cost was exactly what tuition assistance covered. So you never had to pay out of pocket and stuff like that. And that's how they made their money. American Military University. A lot of service members get the degree through there because it's something that's available and easy for them to do. They don't have to worry about extended cost or using their GI Bill while in service or going into debt and loans and stuff like that. Those are big factors, but it's still the possibility and the availability that there's there. So it's always paying attention to those things. And like I said, there's little small things here and there. And as I keep on learning these things, I'll make those the did you know videos. That's what they're there for. It's like those little snippets of information like, hey, did you know about this? Most people don't know. So it's just like, hey, at least maybe I got this person thinking about this process of what possibly could be there or what's there. And we do that on the channel every Monday through Friday. It's the same. You get one question a day. Just answer the question. Like today's question. Who is the chairman of the Senate Committee of Veteran Affairs? The Senate one. So who's the chairman? Right now, I got 17 answers. 47% says John Tester. 18% Jerry Moran. 18% Bernie Sanders. And the other 18% Kevin Kramer. John Tester is no longer the chairman. He was the chairman, but he lost to Tim Sheehy. I don't know how to say his name. Sheehy, something like that. From Montana, he lost that seat, and then the person that replaced him in the Senate actually became part of the committee. So that I found interesting that they just replaced who was. They're from Montana. Jerry Moran just got signed in to be chairman. I believe it was like 2 days ago on the 8th. So now he is the official chairman of the Senate Committee of Veteran Affairs. Bernie Sanders has been on there from Vermont, and Kevin Kramer have been on there. But like I said, on the website, we show that right here. Give me a second so I can see it. And this is what we have. Tim Sheehy. Annette, thank you as always for stopping by. As always, thank you for your support. You have yourself a great evening and a great weekend. If anything, I will see you on Sunday. But yeah, these are all of them here. They're all there for y'all to view. Check out who they are. The House Committee, their website hasn't updated yet because nobody's changed. Unless everybody stayed in there and they kept their seats, that's one thing. But they haven't. I haven't seen any changes. The people that have changed for the Senate, Tim Shihai is new. Ruben Gallego new. Jim Banks new. Uh, Alyssa Slotkin new. Tammy Duckworth new. Those are all the new incoming senators that came in. Tammy is a retired lieutenant colonel. Gallego, I believe Marines. I'm not sure on Banks. And Tim was former Army or Army. So basically, those people are there. So the people that are serving in these positions are also, some are veterans, not all, but some are veterans. So it's like, hey, if you're going to have people fighting for our rights, fighting for our policies, best thing to do is have veterans that are veterans that know how to do it, that at least serve so they understand what it is, what the requirements are, what is needed by veterans, what they go through, how they deal with the VA, because they know what the VA is like. So they'll deal with it and stuff like that. But that's all there. Like I said, the website is there. We're gonna keep on working on it, keep on improving it. If y'all got suggestions, don't hesitate to email Vet Awareness Project at Gmail. You can send an email there. Contact me if you got any suggestions, you got any videos you want to see, stuff like that. Leave it in the comments. Like, subscribe, pass this information out to other veterans, educate veterans, and don't downplay somebody trying to assist like we had the person earlier. You're not helping the situation as a veteran if you are not trying to assist other veterans. If you're just trying to tell them like, hey, worry, and not even know what you're talking about, you're part of the reason and part of the problem that we have in dealing with veteran affairs and dealing with veterans, as people are just making statements and not actually doing the research that they need to do to actually show where they're getting the information from. And some people just like to talk out their mouth because they're a veteran and they feel they have the right to do so. That's cool. You're not in the uniform anymore. Somebody will punch you in the mouth. Things have changed. You're not hiding behind a rank anymore. Some people need to realize that. Some people tend to forget that. It's not the same thing anymore as when you were in. So just keep that in mind, y'all. Take care of yourselves. Well, hold on. Be good to one another. Take care of one another. Look out for one another. Love one another. And stay marvelous while doing it, y'all. I'm Just Cruz. This is the Veteran Awareness Project. This is our channel. This is what we do. Every Sunday, 12 noon, we have our veteran workshops. It entails a specific topic, and sometimes it's just, hey, it goes where whoever's asking the question leads it to. So if you got questions, put them together. If you got questions, leave them in the comments. Tune into the next one and ask your question, or start thinking about questions over the weekend. And then on Sunday, when we have our workshop, be in here, just ask a question, let me know what it is, and we can get down to it and find you an answer. We answer everybody. As long as we don't have a whole long list of questions to ask, we're going to get to everybody, and we're just going to give you the answer that you need, help you benefit from it, help you learn from it, and help you take advantage of the benefits you've earned. So that's it. I'm Cruz, Just Cruz. I'll be signing out, y'all. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I appreciate y'all as always. Y'all take care. I will see y'all on Sunday. Peace. I can never find the ending screen on this for some reason.